there, open field, and a touchdown for the Whalers.
Durfee will go with a full house backfield. Yep. And Keeve will take it the distance.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and welcome to Durfee High School's Mac Aldridge Field. It is Durfee versus New Bedford, live on Fred TV. Evan Massu, Joe Cabral, Chris Santos, great to be with you, gentlemen, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to all, to you, Evan, to Chris, and of course to our viewers.
Same to you guys, and obviously to your families, and let's have a good football game, and then enjoy and sit back and have some turkey and watch some NFL.
A lot of talk about this one, as always. A historic rivalry. We talk about it every year. It's been a pleasure to be able to do this with you guys every year that we team up. And this year, obviously not the season the Whalers were looking for. For Durfee, a little different story. They have a chance to have the best record in Coach Brown's career, to tie a 5-6 record, which was his best as a coach a few years back, and they have a chance to do that today as well. But for the Whalers side of things, you guys did a couple games. It's been a struggle.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, especially on the offensive side of the football. Some of the games early on, their defense has performed adequately, but they've really had a hard time moving the football, putting points on the board early. A lot of their scores come later in the game, and obviously at that point, it's kind of too late. So they have to find some offense here today, Chris. Early in the game would be one of my key points to look for.
Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything here, Evan. It has not been a good year for head coach Bob Lump in his first year, and we understand as a first-year head coach, you have a different organization that you brought in. You have different plays that you brought in, a system that you want your team to understand. It hasn't gone the way he has wanted it, but at the same time, it's not perfection in your first year of coaching. Right. It takes a little bit of time. So hopefully they buy into his program. They continue to get it going, and nothing better than trying to make an upset here this morning over in Fall River. But as Joe said, they're going to have to find a way to play flawless football, no turnovers, no penalties, no mistakes, ground control, run the clock as best they can, and see if they can hang in there toward the end of the game. Their defense has been a huge problem. They've given up over 30, 40 points a game, and it's been a struggle on that side of the ball. So they're going to have a lot of things go their way to come up with a victory here this morning.
And in high school football, you have to find big plays, and New Bedford has not been able to do that. Even when they've had successful drives, they're 10, 12, 14-play drives, and then they can't finish. So you need big plays in high school football to score points.
Well, it's kind of the perfect storm, right? Numbers have been down. There's a lot of young players, and you have a new coach coming in, so you got the new system to learn. Yep. That usually, one of those things is hard to deal with in a season at high school. You're dealing with 3 of those. So that certainly adds to the challenges. I did get a chance to speak with Coach Lump at practice last week, and Coach, no stranger to the South Coast. He was at Apponequet for many years, certainly familiar with this rivalry and his first year into it. Despite the record, he feels the same way as other coaches. You got to throw it out the window, and this is a one-game season. Let's hear from Coach Lump here now from practice at the Whalers camp.
It's so much fun, being at Apponequet all those years. Our Thanksgiving rival was Old Rochester, and it was always a big game. It was just exciting to be a part of it. And we've played in great weather, we played in horrible weather. I mean, last year I was at Sandwich, and it was a rainstorm. I'm sure it was here as well, and it was a tough one. And so you don't quite get the crowd on those days. When you have great weather, you get great crowds. People are home, and so you get a lot of excitement. So it's always fun to play in great weather. But it's just, it's emotional. It's emotional for the kids. It's emotional for the seniors. It's their last game. So it's the finality of like not playing high school football ever again, but especially with this group of guys. So, it is a really special tradition.
Coach DeBritta was here for a better part of 10 years. His program, I'm sure, a little different than yours. Was there a learning curve there, at least early on?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, the offensive scheme was different than what he ran, and so getting the kids up to speed on that. But I don't put too much into that. I just think it's just we were in a year where it's just low numbers. I had low numbers coming in. I think the first day of practice I had 16 guys. So we've grown from there, but then we retracted a little bit. And so it's just getting those numbers up and working with the young kids is going to be a goal, for me moving forward here the next few years.
So there you have it, kind of like what we were saying, right? I mean, you come in with 16 guys, that's almost unheard of, at least for these teams, the larger schools here on the South Coast that have such, long-standing history with their programs. But certainly been a challenge for Coach Lump. But he's up to the task. I know he is. His confidence was still there when I talked to him. But, coming in winless, Durfee's had the same thing. I've been doing this since 2012, and when I came into it, that fall, I was in the middle of what would be a 27-game losing streak for the Hilltoppers. I didn't see a win until 2014. So I get it. Everybody has a bad year. But it's to your point, it's going to be a challenge, I think, for the Whalers today.
Yeah, and I think one of the problems, Evan, is it becomes a self-perpetuating thing. So
Sure.
if you're winning, you get more kids to show up. You get more players. If you're losing, very hard to get over the hump because everyone says, do I really want to put in the extra effort when it doesn't look that promising for us? So you got to be realistic in that regard. Your numbers will be affected by how well your team is playing and how well you are doing. Conversely, obviously, you'd like to get talent there, so you're hoping for talent with whatever the quantities are, so you can put out a good product.
Well, you heard by what he said with his numbers. He only had 16 when he first came out. What does that mean? That means the junior programs you got to be involved with. You got to find these kids coming to New Bedford High.
Right.
You got to sell your product, and you got to get them in the weight room and get them starting young and go from there. If you think this is an overnight sensation, it's not going to happen. It's a process. It's a plan that they have that, okay, this guy's going to lead us and get us to where back to some winning ways, and it's going to take time, but again, you need the numbers and you need the horses, and he's got to find it, and he's got to come up with it in the next few years.
And as a coach, you realistically also have to adapt to what you have.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that Coach Lomp will learn here at New Bedford High. He's different type of student, different type of athlete, more, especially recently over the last 10, 15 years, more athletic, less. You don't have the same size that maybe you had 20, 25 years ago, even at the smaller schools.
Right.
So you got to try to adjust your scheme at times to meet your talent.
And let's not forget about the strength of schedule. Now, he comes out, 8 of the 9 teams that he played had made the playoffs or in right there in the semis or the finals and getting to where they want to go. So this isn't smaller schools. This is big schools where he's going to have to come up and play some top Division I teams. So it's going to be a process for him to learn on the fly, and I'm sure him and his crew will get it done.
Durfee on the other side went to new starting quarterback last year, a new offensive playbook. Coach Brown was very excited about that. It paid off. They had some good games last year. This year, even better. Matt Sherry as a junior quarterback. 25th anniversary of the Super Bowl team that Taylor Brown played in when he lost to BC High. Coach now back coaching once again. Had a chance to speak with him as well, and his optimism's there. He said this is one of the most coachable teams he's had.
This game means everything, so anything can happen on Thanksgiving regardless of the record. So that's our message to the kids throughout the week and the days leading up to the game, is that can't take it lightly regardless of what their record is. So we got to approach it like they're 10-0, not 0-9 or whatever they are. So we have to have that mindset and that approach throughout the week, and we can't get complacent with our thinking like that, and that they're going to come in and roll over. That's not going to be the case. We know how competitive the game is. So.
To me, this is one of the better teams you've coached. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think, we were really young this year, all over the field. We had a lot of sophomores and juniors step up, be first-time starters and fill important roles that we've had, graduate. So it was a long season as far as, like, mistakes-wise, right? But we got better throughout the year with those. We improved in the penalties the last couple of games, which is good, which leads to a win, right? We were in those games, those close games, where we had 7, 8 penalties in a game, set us back, hurt ourselves. But the last few games, we've improved on that. So this team is gonna be young again next year, so we're looking forward to the future of the team. But they've definitely matured and grown throughout the year, and we've seen it on film. So.
Taylor Brown mentions the youth, and it's important to mention that the freshman team just finished off an undefeated season as well. So not only now this year you had success with sophomores and juniors, you're going to have a senior quarterback next year who's got 2 years in the system as a starter, and you have freshmen that are going to come up that just had a perfect season. It's hard to look ahead, but we're human, we do it. I can't help but be excited for next year. I know we got to play this game, but it really makes you think about the possibilities for 2026.
I mean, Chris talked about it. It's kind of a chicken and egg type of situation. You don't know which comes first. You have this fine freshman program now. You're going to build up your varsity program with that freshman group, and then probably more of that in the pipeline. But also, Durfee has improved over the past few years, so it draws interest back to football, high school football. I'm looking forward to it as a 7th grader, as an 8th grader. I'm going to play Pop Warner. I'm going to do all of these different things. So, again, chicken and egg type of thing. Looks like Durfee's going in the right direction. As Chris mentioned, New Bedford has to get that type of approach again to build up the high school and the varsity program.
Chris,
and what I've seen from this team, Evan, they're not as big as they used to be up front, which tells me there's a lot of skill players on this squad. And they go as Matt Sherry goes. If Matt Sherry goes, they go.
Right.
And he's the catalyst, and I think New Bedford knows that. They have to find a way to contain his runs. They got to find a way to cover in the secondary. But they go as Sherry goes, and if New Bedford can kind of attempt to slow him down, then maybe they have some kind of a shot. But as Taylor Brown said, we're still young with sophomores and juniors. And then you got a freshman program that goes undefeated. That's great for the future of what's coming up from them, something that Bob Lomp needs to get his program back to doing. Hopefully he can.
Right. I know last year, too, the Whalers, it was a tough year for Coach DeBretto. It ended up being his last season as the head coach, and that kind of carried into this year. So, I mean, what's the key? You mentioned strength of schedule. I think that's very important. I've been saying it for a while. I think Durfee's strength of schedule isn't always as tough as I'd personally like it to see, but I don't make those decisions. I come and I call the games. But at the same time, when you see Brockton and New Bedford with a tougher schedule, now there's two sides of this. Durfee with a slightly less strong schedule, right? A lesser schedule in a way, but they're picking up more wins. Having the wins, does that boost the morale and attract more? Say, hey, we're winning games.
Again,
Does it supersede one over the other?
It's, again, the chicken and the egg syndrome. So what I would say from a Durfee perspective here, if I was in charge of the schedule, I was the AD, I'd watch the program the next year or two. Once they start to play better, start increasing the strength of schedule. Now you win against better teams. You continue to feed to that pipeline. New Bedford, even though they do play a better schedule than Durfee, once upon a time had a brutal schedule. They used to play Xaverian, BC High, St. John's Prep every year. And then they said, well, our program may be down a little bit. You saw the schedule going the other way, and it really didn't help. So I always believe in a strong schedule, and it's a matter of getting there eventually for Durfee.
Certainly. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here as the marching bands for both sides join together on Mac Aldridge Field, just off to your right, and they will be playing the national anthem.
Now, fans, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps and welcome the New Bedford High School Marching Band and BMC Durfee High School Marching Band for today's national anthem.
Play ball, gentlemen. New Bedford won the toss. They are going to receive the football as the colors make their way off the field. One of our Fred TV students who's actually going to be heading up to the roof to help run our cameras today, George Tompkins, leading the color guard for the NJROTC. Bands did a great job as usual. I always love that they get together and play together for the anthem. That's a nice tradition as well.
Yeah, Joe, I'm going to give you my first stat of the day. Do you know how many times New Bedford has returned a kickoff this year? 5. That's it. 5 kickoffs in 9 games. So think about that. Not scoring much to get kickoffs, you know what I mean? Other teams, I mean, just trying to find out what kind of skill players they got.
Yeah,
so
sure.
this is going to be interesting
You
here.
don't get the ball in the end zone.
No.
I mean, it's still a game of stopping your opponent from doing so and doing it yourself. As I mentioned, I think it's key here that New Bedford does something early in this game on the offensive side of the football. You put some points on the board, you get a lead, a lot of young players. You start thinking like, you know what, who cares about the 0-9? We're just as good as this squad.
Like I said, I've been on the other side of it 3 times, so I get it. Sherry will kick it off. They have Matthew DeSantos and DJ Furtado back deep. It's going to be a touchback, and we are underway as New Bedford's offense will hit the field for the first time today.
Sherry's kick goes into the end zone for a
Sean
touchdown.
Waters, the QB, number 1 for New Bedford. Evan Massu, Joe Cabral, and Chris Santos with you for Thanksgiving Day football live here on Fred TV.
Yeah, expect Logan Desmarais to be the running back. He'll have Matthew DeSantos and probably Cole Rebello as his wings as we get ready for the first play of Turkey Day morning.
Yeah, New Bedford runs a double wing, Evan.
Yep. And they go to DeSantos on the first play, and he breaks free down the left sideline into the flat, and he's pushed out of bounds just across midfield in a big first play for the Whalers. Looks like they're going to mark him out right at the 50.
He can run to the outside. We've
Hand
seen
off to
DeSantos on several occasions get to the outside of the formation. New Bedford runs, again, that double wing, very tight formation. If you can get to the outside, they can be dangerous, Chris.
You can, and you know, I'm sure Durfee saw the film and what they want to do to slow this down, but yet when you see it live, it's a lot different.
30-yard play for on the first play from scrimmage. This one a little shorter for 3 yards. The Whalers, that was Damaris. Logan actually is the Whaler player that I spoke to at practice. We're going to hear from him. And Suleiman Haji from the Hilltoppers. We'll hear from them at halftime. Logan, great kid. Really well-spoken, focused. It was good to talk with him. And, of course, he's a junior, so this is not his final Thanksgiving Day game. He'll get to finish at home as a senior next year. 2nd and 7. DeSanto.
Yeah, on the previous play, New Bedford had a little bit of a wrinkle there, though they ran number 8, Desmarais, straight up the middle. They brought their wing back over and lined him up almost as if he was a fullback. Usually they send that wing back in motion. This time he lined up right behind the quarterback, and they took it up the middle, picked up a few yards here. Not as successful with DeSantos.
No, so a 3rd and 7 coming up here for the Whalers after that big play on their first snap of the game. Now looking at a 3rd and 7 as they set Furtado in motion and some trouble. That's a live ball. Did it end up curling back? It certainly had some tail. You saw it, folks, right on the 50 here. Went out of bounds.
We'll see. They're going to call it an incompletion. But, Chris, you saw there again, they brought over number 15, DJ Furtado, like directly behind the quarterback. Then they sent him in motion from there, try to swing pass, something we've not seen.
Yeah, but the end ended up getting in and messing that play up. And so what does Waters have to do? He's just got to flare one out there. They're lucky because I thought it was going to be a lateral myself.
I know.
It was close. We're right on that mark right here.
Coach Powers for Durfee was on this. He went out for a minute. It was to the official, what's going on? Because the ball had some tail. It's not that windy, which is kind of interesting here as they will punt it away here. The Hilltoppers will get their first crack at the ball as New Bedford has to kick it away. And it is Waters. A tumbling kick that's going to roll down to about the 18-yard line.
Rugby style there from Waters. We've not seen him punting, so that's a change for New Bedford to have Waters doing the punting. And again, with that rugby style, you virtually eliminate the return, Chris.
Yeah, pretty much. And, you know, that was more of a low-line drive. Maybe you're thinking, hey, maybe I can hit a black jersey and get the ball and see what happens. But Durfee was smart. They got out of the way. They cleared out. They'll get the ball, obviously, at their own 18-yard line, and we'll keep an eye on the quarterback, number 2, Matt Sherry.
Yeah, those are some of the things, Chris, that Coach was talking about in his one-on-one with me. Is that a lot of those mistakes, those mental mistakes, have been cleaned up over the second half of the season. First play from scrimmage for Durfee is a running play. He gets pushed down. The play was whistled dead about 2 yards back from where he fell. Maybe a good 6 yards there, maybe 5.
I believe it was Antoine on the carry.
Yeah, Marvin Zantone and Mosiah Cousins have been fantastic this season for Durfee. Antone number 4, senior. Going right back to him. Takes a hit and is stopped short of the 30, but should be enough for a first down. And it is. Moves the chains.
Yeah, traditional I set for Durfee, and they use Antone as the tailback, and Chris there just a power off tackle to the left, and with the lead blocker, they're able to come up with a
Well,
first
you got to
down.
look at the front four. Can the front four disrupt their front four, hold them up at the line instead of moving back 2 yards, in which Durfee has done a good job on the first 2 plays of firing off the ball, and New Bedford will have to adjust.
So a fresh set of downs at the 30. And not much doing on that play. You saw the running back trying to cut back in.
Cousins, the ball carrier.
That was Cousins this
Tackled
time
by
getting
Velez.
his first carry of
No
the
gain,
morning.
play second and 10.
And Chris, New Bedford actually bowing up a little bit here. We've seen them struggle against the running game, so those first 3 plays not that bad.
5-man front for New Bedford.
That's a change.
Straight across, 2 linebackers, and then obviously have your skill positions in the secondary. So defense coordinator, Coach Sylvia, trying to mix it up here and keep an eye on Sherry to see if he handles the ball this time. There it is.
Sherry tucks, thinking about keeping it himself, and it's tackled. That was Lennox Brunskill who got him from behind
Sherry, the ball
and
carrier.
stopped him from getting any further. Only
Tackled by Brunskill.
2 yards that time.
This is where you want Durfee
Gain of 2
if you're
on the
Coach
play.
Lump. You
Third
got to
and 8.
have him 3rd and long, but you got to get him in punt formation. This is the plays that he said, if I have a shot to win this game, we've got to force them 3rd and long and make sure they don't get the first down.
Yeah, get them off the field. High school
That's it.
football, 3rd and long, certainly you think that you have a good chance of getting your opponent off the field because it makes them virtually one-dimensional, have to throw the football. We'll see here.
It's passing,
Perry is
going
gonna
deep,
pass.
wide open.
Down the field, has his man, and it is caught. Tackled down at the 15, a huge conversion on 3rd down. The catch made by Landon Noguera.
Logan Alves on the defensive back there. The wide receiver crossed his face and went right by him. You could see it opening up. You knew if he had time, that was going to be a completion.
Yeah, and in high school football, really, you're running essentially man-to-man defense the
Yep.
majority of the time. There's no reason for that to happen on
Nope.
a 3rd and long. There's no real deception. They did run play action, but you're covering a man. You need to be there and have tighter coverage than that. He was wide open.
Yep.
First down at the 15. Running play. Outside. Tackled from around the collar, out of bounds.
DJ
Right near the
Furtado.
first down marker. We'll see if they move the chains. They will. It's going to be first and goal for Durfee.
But a big swing, Joe, it takes the momentum right away. You know, you punted the ball, you got him 3rd and long, you give up the bomb. Now, all the momentum in favor of the Hilltoppers,
Yep.
and they want to see if they can top it off,
First and
obviously,
goal,
with
Hilltoppers.
a score here.
Yeah, and if you're New Bedford again, your secondaries coach has to talk to your backs and say, you need to cover your man. You worry about the run secondarily in a case like that, 3rd and long.
You go to Pina, number 1, and he's not going far.
That was a good play by the front four
Yeah.
of New
Into the
Bedford
ball
there to
carrier.
come up front. Number 70 also helping out in that
Tackled by
tackle.
Johnson.
Thiago de Cruz, who's been around for a while, and we've called
No
his
gain on the
name
play.
quite a
Second
few
and goal.
times during our broadcast. So those are guys that need, and they got to find a way to limit this now, Joe. You know, you stop them here, it gives your team a little bit back the momentum that you need because of what had happened. obviously on the long play.
New Bedford's front seven, they do have some size, so you need to stop the run, and you're going to have a chance here.
Pitch it out to
Outside.
Antone.
Step up.
Antone cuts in.
Fumble.
Oh, he lost the ball, but will he get it back in the end zone?
He
I think
sure
so.
will.
Yes, he does. And it is a touchdown for Durfee, but almost a little bit of disaster there for the Hilltoppers as the ball did come loose. But Durfee on the board first on Thanksgiving 2025. It's 6-0.
So we've seen a couple of good things from New Bedford defensively, able to stop the run inside, not to the outside, however, and that's been a problem all season long. And then, of course, the big play on the bomb on the post route, and Durfee now with a 6-0 lead.
And those big plays are pretty consistent. Durfee tends to have a couple of those a game, and Sherry's arm has gotten stronger over the last year. He's able to get it down there as the point after is punched through.
And it was a perfectly thrown ball. He
yeah,
was
no doubt
wide
about
open, but the ball was right on the money.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It would have been easy to miss that type of throw. He was throwing that ball a good 45 yards downfield, right on the money.
I was, of course, pregame, I go down to the field. A couple of weeks ago, they were working on some of the deep passes during pregame, and I was kind of in the middle of the field with the coaches. So Sherry's getting the snap, and he's throwing over our heads, and you're just looking down the field, like, watching the ball go all the way down, and everything was right on the money.
8 plays, 82 yards, took 4 minutes and 36 seconds off the clock. So Durfee strikes first, and of course it was the big long pass to get it going to Noguera, and the Hilltoppers up 7-0.
Obviously a key possession here. We said how the games have basically played out this season for New Bedford need to answer here offensively.
Yeah, I think exactly. So can New Bedford now put together a drive? We saw a great play on first down in their opening drive, and then they stalled at midfield. They're going to have better field position this time. Down at, looks like the 31. First kickoff for Sherry was a touchback. This one is returned by the Whalers for about 21.
And we talked about it a bit before the game and before our pregame. You need big plays in high school football. That resulted in Durfee's points. New Bedford has to find those big plays, but they also have to execute their offense with precision. It's an offense that doesn't have a lot of diversity, so you need precision to be able to put points on the board.
Going to change the clock, I think. They did not like what the time, so they'll think they'll regroup and get that one.
Yeah.
And Joe, it's not, it's about precision, because you got to move the change in this style of offense, and you got to find a way to get first downs, control the clock, and run it down as much as you can. So, it's only 7-0. You're the one who gave up the big play, and you're still in the game so far. You just got to make sure you move the chains.
There was a clock situation. 5:33 to go. It was down to 5:01. And now here we go. That was Damaris.
Quick dive there to the fullback,
Damaris, the ball
number
carrier.
8. Damaris, we've seen
Tackle
him,
by
Joe,
Hockey.
at times carry the load. We've seen him come out
Gain
and
of 1 on the
carry
play.
it 25, 30 times in a game. So they go right back to him early.
He certainly is the most dynamic player they have. We did see Dos Santos get to the outside, but it's really Desmaris. If you could find a way to get him into the second level, he can do some damage.
Not going far. I honestly could not even see who had the
That
ball. I
was
thought
Dos
Waters
Santos.
had.
That was Dos
It was
Santos.
Dos Santos.
Yeah.
I thought Waters had it. He had his arm tucked, and he sold me on it.
Yeah, so that's the little pitch that New Bedford uses
Yeah.
and really runs it as a power off tackle. So they pitch to the wingback who's coming in motion, and then the quarterback actually leads the play. He's the lead blocker, and that's why you were a bit confused there when you saw Waters heading to the hole.
So 3rd down and 8. Waters dropping back, pressure, and he is going down. They brought Damian Keada The sophomore, 6'2", 225, off the edge. No chance for Waters.
And you mentioned the edge, and here's one of the problems when your formation is that tight, especially at the high school level. The ends just go around the outside. They totally ignore the fact that they have to stop the run because the formation is so tight, you can still stop the run if it gets to the outside.
Right.
And you can see the instant pressure, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, he was untouched. Waters had absolutely no chance.
The Whalers will punt it away again. This one a very high punt, and it will go out of bounds short of the 50. Durfee will start in New Bedford territory on their second drive.
The advantage of a tight formation is obviously you get very little penetration inside. If your offensive line is big and strong and you can push the defensive front, you can move the football inside. The challenge is the outside really doesn't open up unless you're really moving the football through the middle of the line. If not, that outside, they just ignore that. They just come, whenever the quarterback's back to pass or running a pitch play, they just come from the outside, and they're able to disrupt plays like they did on that last pass attempt.
So Durfee back out on offense, second series. They go to the ground, first down from the 45 of the Whalers, and Antone pumping those legs across the 30.
Perfect example of what I like from Taylor Brown right there. You come out with the I formation. What do you come out second possession? The spread. You change it up. You make New Bedford say, whoa, what's this about? Now they're going to go a different way. That's what I like high school teams to do. Different formations to confuse the defense.
Even if the play is essentially the same. So that was a power again. You run it off tackle, and to Chris's point, the defense looks initially and they see, wow, what's this? What are they going to run from here? You limit the predictability.
Yeah.
And there are two ways to do that, a variety of plays or a variety of formations. So when you vary the formations, you can run similar plays, in fact, identical plays, and the defense can still be fooled.
Right.
And that's what they ran there. And you could see a playoff tackle generate more yardage there than they had when they were in the I formation.
Yeah, it was good for over 15 yards for Antone. As the teams go into the timeout here. 3:05 to go in this opening quarter.
The other game today for Haven at Dartmouth, the Blue Devils score early. They go up 7-0. They force Dartmouth to punt, and then play later for Haven fumbles. 2 plays later, Dartmouth scores. They're tied at 7.
And Diamond also playing their New Bedford counterpart, playing the Bears, New Bedford Vogue. They're out there in New Bedford. Be checking in with Athletic Director Bobby Bailey in a bit. First down and 10 at the 25. Sherry keeps it.
Could go.
Bumping to the outside. He's got some space in the flat to the corner of the end zone. And Sherry is in for the score.
He takes it in for a Hilltopper touchdown.
So, Chris, to your point there, again, working from the spread, and then you run a quarterback power, and no one there to stop the quarterback, Matthew Sherry.
No, I mean, you got a spy, you got a chance, but when you get a chance to wrap him up, you got to wrap him up. But Sherry, pretty big kid, good size, 6 feet, 195, pretty strong, obviously athletic. You get him to the outside, he just gets to the cone and gets it in for the touchdown.
Botched snap. They will toss it back to Sherry, and they're going to try for 2. He's open, and they'll make it work. It's 15-0.
That's kind of a microcosm, Chris, of New Bedford's season.
Pretty much.
Ball on a bad snap.
A successful 2-point conversion.
The quarterback picks it up, who is the kicker, and he's able to convert it for 2 points, and it's 15-0 Durfee.
A short drive for the Hilltoppers that time. They had good field position and got in the end zone rather quickly. Good crowd on hand today, as we always have for Thanksgiving. Though not as many lined around the fences. I'm not sure if they're forcing people to the stands this year down at ticketing, but there have been years we would see the fence all lined up along the end zone. High booming kickoff. Durfee's third kickoff already The Whalers running into a wall around the 25-yard line. Return for about 10 to 15 yards for the Whalers.
Now that was 2 plays, 45 yards, 28 seconds.
Series
That's kind of the plays I like.
Yeah.
if I'm on offense, and I'm sure Taylor Brown's going to be real happy about that.
Again, Chris, we talk about it all the time during our telecasts. Big plays result in points. In high school football, it's very hard to do what Hank Schramm said, matriculate the ball down the field.
Yep.
You can do it, but it's very difficult.
Handing it off on first down.
Might have fumbled the ball,
I
too.
think so.
Looked like the ball did come loose.
But did New Bedford have it, or does Durfee have it? Well, Durfee came up with it, and he's holding it up, and I think
it is Durfee ball. Took a minute. The Hilltoppers forced the fumble on the first play of New Bedford's 3rd drive.
That was Dismaris on the carry. Coughed up the football, Durfee on the recovery, and it continues to get worse here on Thanksgiving morning for the New Bedford offense.
Yep, you fake the sweep, you come back underneath to your fullback. He gets popped as soon as he handles the ball, and the next thing you know, it's a fumble and on the ground.
Corrections, Zatavian Rodriguez with the recovery.
That was Zatavian Rodriguez with the fumble recovery.
Well, New Bedford has to find a stop here, Chris, if they want to stay in this game.
Yeah, they do, and unfortunately, it's not looking well for them. We've seen this most of the year. They got to find a way to get 4 and out, but he's passing right away.
They brought pressure. Deep. Sherry down the field, almost picked off. Crossing route there.
Ball that should have been intercepted by New Bedford's DJ Furtado.
Broken up by Furtado.
Well, it was interesting, Evan. The receiver took a different route. You do the post, but then he went across, and that gave time for the safety to come over and say, wait a minute, what's this about? And then he crossed over. Probably should have been picked, but you have to make the play.
Well, you wonder, too, throw took a little longer to get off because Sherry had pressure coming from both edges, and maybe that delayed, and the route took a turn to the left because he was already down the field.
Yeah, I think the point is valid. Chris's point valid as well. Come across a bit too much. You run directly to the middle of the goalpost on a post pattern.
Oh, a little reverse there. They set the man in motion, and now Antone down the sideline to the end zone. And the Hilltoppers have scored 3 times in the opening quarter. No flags.
Yeah, and that's really where the New Bedford defense has been all season. They make one play, but they can't string a bunch of plays together. That was wide open, untouched to the end zone for Antone.
Tremendous block by Hunter Martin. It looked like number 78, I believe. And he just cleared Ethan Bryant out, was able to get underneath, get the extra point as well, but the touchdown was done.
22-0. We still have 2 minutes and 24 seconds to play in the first quarter. And Durfee up by 3 scores.
You
Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, you miss a chance to get a turnover, and immediately the next play Durfee scores.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't do things like that. 2 plays, 26 seconds, and 15 seconds, and you're back in the end zone. So it's quickly 22-0, and we still got 2:24 to go here in the first quarter. So it's not pretty if you're a New Bedford fan.
Well, the Whalers have been shut out 4 times this season. We know points have been tough to come by. Last week, scoring 2 touchdowns for the first time all season. I say last week. I should say last game. They have not played since the 7th. They did not play week 11.
Something happened there. There's offsides, I believe, on the kickoff team.
Yep. Looks like our first flag of the game. Oh, a false start against the Hilltoppers.
False start on the Hilltoppers.
Back Durfee up. They'll re-kick it.
Yeah, that, to my knowledge, should not be a pre-snap penalty, though.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, too.
You get the flag, and then you have the chance to return the kick, and then you can choose. Take the result of the play, add 5 yards to it, or push them back and have them redo it. So kind of an unusual call there. Illegal procedure is really no false start on a
Right.
kickoff.
Yeah, that's straight. Don't usually see them stop the play like that, but Durfee will re-kick it. And from the 18-yard line, Whalers will return again, tripped up short of the 35.
That was Furtado for New Bedford, number 15. Probably their best field position to start. Anyways, a series. But again, you know, you're behind the 8 ball when you punt twice and turn it over once. So New Bedford needs to, as Joe says, get the precision of that offense working, and right now it's not.
2:17 to go here in the first quarter. Whalers starting from their own 34-yard line. And a short gain here on first down, maybe good for about 2 or 3. That was Dos Santos.
It should have been -2 or 3. Evan.
I know.
They had people in the backfield. They just happened to miss them. But easily that should have been the opposite way.
Hey, we talk about execution, precision, whatever word you want to use. With this style offense, with that tight formation, you have to be impeccable in your blocking, and you have to be able to physically dominate the other team. There is no real deception or spreading out the field. So because of it, you look at the defense. The safety for Durfee is 7 yards away from center. So you're not, you know, one of the famous things you talk about when you're talking about offensive football or defensive football, if a team can spread out the field, you got to cover every blade of grass, or in this case, turf. When you play New Bedford, really that's not the case. You need to defend that box, maybe 7 yards downfield, and that's it. If
almost
they get beyond
marks.
that, if you get beyond that, you got a chance. But other than that,
well, we've seen the double wing. Somerset ran it for many, many years, and it gave Durfee fits years ago. Incomplete.
Again, if the talent can definitely make that formation and the execution work. If you don't, that's where you're very limited, because you can't go to anything else. You saw Durfee in their first possession, I formation, right? They went downfield, but without the big pass play, New Bedford looked like they had a chance to stop them.
See, now that's not a bad play there, because you throw out in the flat, it sniffs Durfee out and gets him out. Then you can come back in and run on the inside, but you got to execute. You got to catch the ball, make a play.
And you got to make a play on that.
He would have had a nice little first down and moved the chains there, but he drops the ball.
3rd down and 7.
And it's one of the ways you have to find to get to the perimeter.
Nothing doing. In fact, a loss of 3. As the runner goes down in the backfield. There was a timeout before 2nd down, and it was an injury substitution, injury timeout. Zatavian Rodriguez actually came off the field, and he's being tended to on the bench by our trainer, Kelly Mahoney. Sometimes I wonder if, I'm sure she doesn't feel this way, but I you know, Kelly, it makes it seem like there's 3 of her because she's everywhere. The life of a trainer. A little easier today with just one game happening, but volleyball, football, soccer, things going on, 3 different events going on at once, and she's always all over the complex. So invaluable. That punt will go out of bounds at the Durfee 47-yard line as the Whalers have to give it back again. And Durfee will see the ball for the 4th time here in the first quarter. 32 seconds left in the first.
Well, we got 32, as he said, and obviously this is the 4th possession now for Durfee, and what they've done so far, Joe. Another great field position. You know, the way they've been scoring, they could probably get another 7 before the end of the first quarter ends, you know, and really seal this one right away. So, you know, again, very difficult for New Bedford to get back in. Offensively, it's just trying to see if they can at least stop Durfee on a series.
We haven't seen a
fumble
on
that
the handoff.
Well, if New Bedford
looks
has
like the Whalers may have it.
Might have something there.
It's a chance for a stop here at least.
Yeah.
New Bedford does have it.
They did get it. Okay.
Looked like number 20 for the Whalers, Cole Rebello.
Oh, Durfee's first mistake of the game.
Yeah. Just a jet sweep, and he just got, you know,
they run that
handoff.
They run that play often.
A million times, yeah.
And if you're New Bedford and you have any hope of getting back into this one, you need to take advantage of this.
There's no question,
imperative.
Joe. No question, Joe. They got a 45-yard field. Pull something out of your bag of tricks. The offense will go back to work. Up the middle, that's a good run for
Dismaris.
Yeah, Dismaris. Good for 6.
Dismaris, the ball
We have
carrier.
2nd and 4. Clock continues to roll. 10 seconds left in the first. I don't think that they will run another play, so we'll be switching sides from
Gain of 6 on the play.
139-yard line to the other. First quarter comes to a close. It was a long first quarter. A lot of points on the board, but only for one side. 22-0 in favor of the Hilltoppers here on Thanksgiving 2025. You know, it's been a very long time. We've seen some one-sided games, at least, you know, I have since 2012, but not this one-sided after one quarter. And you know, years ago, right, when they were one-sided, we didn't have running clock, things to bail you out and speed up the games in the second half, but we may very well see that here as the game progresses.
Yeah, and unfortunately for me and Joe, you know, we've been seeing this all year long, number one. And number two, we're not familiar with seeing this too much from New Bedford High football teams.
I know.
So, you know, this is something that has to turn in the next few years, and they have to find a way to get the program back in shape.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stop there, but it's just because of bad execution on Durfee's part. It had nothing to do with anything from New Bedford. No one was even there. It looked like he was going to really have an open sideline if he held on to the football. Now the Whalers here do have a good 2nd and 4. They need to find points here to keep this a competitive game.
It's 22-0 here. It's 14-7 for Haven over Dartmouth. They're at the 2-minute warning at the half.
It gives you an idea of how long this first quarter was. That's a big tackle right at the line of scrimmage. But the fact that just a little further east of us, they're already almost at halftime. We've just started the second quarter.
That is correct.
And here you can see one of the problems that New Bedford faces. Early on in a game, you have your set plays, and there is some level of nuance, and the defense needs to learn what you run.
Yeah.
But once they do, there are 5 or 6 plays, essentially, aside from those pass plays that we've seen that are somewhat new. And you're able to stop New Bedford's offense literally in its tracks. Big 3rd down.
3rd down and 4. And that's going to be good for a first down. The Whalers will move the chains.
He's their most imposing player.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, like I said, I mean, and I was talking to Mark Enright from the radio. I told him he's got to carry the ball 25, 30 times here this afternoon. You know, try to move the chains. But you got to block up front for him, too. You know, that was off tackle. You get some dives. You get some, you know, some moves on the inside and interior. They need to have him have a big day if they have any chance to at least attempt to come back in this one.
Yeah, the wing backs and those pitchers really have to be the secondary play off of the fullback dives.
Waters rolling out, will pass. Pass is complete. Another first down on the far side there.
Yeah, that was DeSantos with the catch there, number 13. But that was a good job, Joe, of Waters, of holding on to the ball, keeping his composure, looking downfield. His first guy was covered. He wasn't there. That was Jael Martinez. So he waited as long as he could, and he got it off underneath.
And you see the difference when you throw the football on first down. He had time as he was rolling because they're looking for the run.
Well, and to that point, too, he had Rory Johnson came straight back with him as a blocker to protect him. And now back to the ground they go. A little stiff arm action, not helping, not working. Durfee takes him down in the backfield, and a little extra after the play, and now flags come flying in as the Whalers looking for an edge. Jelmani Velez.
Now we got flags everywhere.
Some shoves as well.
It should be offsetting here.
Yes.
But that being said, if you're Dismaris, that's not your game. You don't go east to west. You go north and south with him. That's where you want him in the interior. So Bob Lomp comes out, Taylor Brown comes out, talking to his boys, and says, hey, fellas, let's go. Continue playing your football.
Right, because these one-sided games do sometimes, they can get chippy. We saw it the COVID year when we played in April. That game ended about 2 minutes early because everybody was on the field. It was chaos. We were up at the turf field. We weren't on the main stadium. And so when it gets one-sided, things get a little chippier than usual.
So the question becomes here is, though there are probably penalties on both sides, are there multiple penalties on one team? And the officials talking it over here. Maybe they want a player or two to go to the sideline for a bit, not sure, but they're all looking kind of toward the various huddles to see numbers potentially.
Well, Joe, Joe Monty Velez was protecting Dismaris on that after, they stopped and they thought it was an extra, extracurricular stuff. And so he thought
it was a late tackle, Joe.
So they went back and said, hey, I'm going to try to help my guy out. And I get it to a point, but, you got to stay disciplined. And so the refs are going to discuss what, Durfee came back in and did, and then they'll figure out what the penalties are.
There's a difference, though, right? When you're kind of, your body's taking you to the ground and you hear the whistles, there's a point of no return. The whistles were going, and there really wasn't a need to make that tackle. The play was dead. So I can understand.
Dismaris is big, Evan, so it's very hard to get him down on a play like that without momentum. And so they kept on playing, and unfortunately they played beyond the whistle. And as Chris mentioned, New Bedford's number 55, Velez, did not like it, and then it became a little bit of a shoving match. Nothing really too severe. So, again, the question is, what are the officials discussing here? Are they talking about players to come off?
Well, I don't know if it's that or they're going to go personal
foul against Durfee, personal foul against New Bedford. Makes sense. They offset. And then, that's it. Okay.
Offsetting personal fouls.
Well, that was a lot of
now
talk.
The question
just for
here
that.
is, it looked like he held up a finger to say first down.
I think he went second.
If he put two fingers up, that's fine, because then he's saying it's a dead ball foul. If it's not a dead ball foul and there are personal fouls on both teams, then you replay the down. It would actually benefit New Bedford, because they'd go back to the original line of scrimmage.
So Bobby Lump wants to know the details of what he had said over to Taylor Brown. So he goes over and gives his explanation of it.
Let's see here if he tells us again what he signified.
I don't think he will. I think they're just ready to get this back going.
Scoreboard, we have second down.
Yeah.
Yep, and on the field it is as well.
Yeah, I think they'll keep that.
That's it. So second and looks like about 14.
So
there was a loss of yards there. We did hear from Bobby Bailey, athletic director over at Diamond. And it is 7-0 New Bedford Vogue. The Bears ahead of the Bengals right now at end of the first half. Diamond earned a spot in the Vogue Championship, by the way. They're playing on Wednesday. We're heading up to Medford for that as Waters scrambles, gets the, oh man, and that was in the hands and dropped it. What an amazing job by Waters. Just, he got totally flushed out and still was able to put the pass on the money.
That's two drops now, Joe, that need to be converted.
Yeah, that's
to give yourself a chance.
That's a big one, because New Bedford is in scoring position. They're just outside the red zone.
Yep.
And that ball was on the money, and a play was made by the quarterback, Waters, to get away from the pressure, to find a man wide open. It wasn't just a matter of catch the ball and be tackled there. He could have turned upfield. And it was number 13, DeSantos, just couldn't hang on to the football.
And this is
right in the breadbasket.
Yeah, and this is where New Bedford does not want to be, because they don't have the plays to get third and longs.
And it is third and long. 3rd and 14 at the 23. 4-down territory for sure. They won't punch from here, but pressure from the edge again now. Waters passing. It's going to be out of bounds to the right. There were 3 Hilltoppers there and no Whalers where that ball was thrown. Lucky it wasn't picked.
Yeah, again, ears pinned back. Durfee knowing you have to throw the football, so the pressure from the outside. And it's one of the reasons why you need to be, my opinion, in high school football at every level now, you need to be able to spread the field out a bit so that the defense has to respond and spread their formation as well. When you're this tight, it's very easy to come around the edge, and you saw Waters there pressured immediately.
So 4th down and 14. Edge pressure. Waters stays in front of it. Waters will take off. Puts the shoulder down, but he's not going to get enough. Made a cut to the outside almost a little too soon. It was, a great opportunity there. He got some yards, but the Hilltoppers are still going to get the ball here. It's a turnover on downs. We do have a Whalers player down in the backside of the play. That's number 60, Congo Hepburn Stanley.
It was the right decision, Chris, by Waters.
Yep.
As
No complaints.
He saw the pressure,
The play is short of the line.
had
The Hilltoppers will take over
had
on downs.
a gap there to run through, had a fine run. It was just, he needed to gain 14, gained about 12.
A tough break for the win, and you know it makes that drop so much more prevalent because he would have had enough. You look at the yards that they would have gotten on that drop. It changes the third down play, changes your fourth down play. So that's a tough break for New Bedford. But we saw a little bit of offensive rhythm there in that drive. They got a couple first downs.
Well, we saw that New Bedford has to throw the football on first down on occasion.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Waters had his most time, had a man wide open on that first down completion. So New Bedford has to throw the football a little bit more on first down early in the downs so that they can have a successful passing game. You can't wait for 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and then have that type of formation where there is no real threat to the outside. The pressure comes immediately. You mentioned it there. You saw the pressure from the edge. What he did is he ran inside and found a space, but not enough to pick up the first down.
So Durfee looking at their longest field of the game. Looks like about 89 yards as they start the drive. Sherry handed it. I think Sherry kept it himself. It looked like Sherry who handed that back to the official.
And Joe, to me, in the last possession, it was the first play to Logan Dismaris. You lose 5 yards on the play for a guy who runs north and south, get him outside, and the next thing you know, it's 2nd and long, and that's trouble for New Bedford because you have to make perfect execution on the rest of the plays.
Again, very familiar with the double wing formation from lower levels of football, Pop Warner, etc.
Sure.
And you can't get to the outside until you really establish a strong inside running game. When you try to get to the outside, you end up with a lot of those negative plays.
Sherry gives it to Antone. Antone almost had the ball stripped, really grasping onto it.
Cole Rebello on that one. Good job by number 20. Because if he gets by Cole, I think he's got some room to the outside and probably picks up the first down, but he hung on to the jersey, and I mean hung on to the jersey.
3rd and 6.
3rd down and 6 now for the Hilltoppers.
Again, need a stop here, Chris. New Bedford only has the 1 turnover on downs when there was a fumble by the Hilltoppers. So here a 3rd and 6. They're inside their own 20-yard line, need a stop here.
He ends up.
Good block. Sherry, though, scrambling in the backfield, being chased, now rolling out to his left, fakes it, and does not get there. It appears he may be a yard or 2 short.
Good job by the Smaras, their spy on Sherry to get out there. They had him, Joe, backed up. They flushed him to the opposite side. Remember, he's left-handed. He's probably going to want to go more to his left than his right. New Bedford has to feel that. If the ball is spotted at the 20, and I believe the first down is...
It's a 4th and 1.
21, I guess.
26. You need to get...
4 on the play.
21 and a half.
Yeah, you need
Yeah,
to
it's
get
4th
to
and 1, but
about
it's
the 21 and a half.
Evan, you got a tush push on Taylor Brown's repertoire?
Haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
Frankly, in high school, you don't even need that.
Okay.
No, that's the
Well,
thing.
just
Just a quarterback sneak. And
Just checking. If he comes up with it right now, Joe, you know, you're gonna have a nice turkey day for me.
Timeout, Durfee.
He's going to call timeout to think about.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and, as you said, Chris, 4th and like a yard and a half. It looks like a little more than 1 based on where the ball is and where the marker is.
Yeah.
But,
the
no
NFL
tush
game
push
now,
yet.
yeah, the NFL game now is certainly about going for it a lot when it's 4th and short. This is, again, take into consideration 22-0. Do you need to help New Bedford here by going for it and not getting it, or punt it away and then say they're going to be hard-pressed to put a lot of points on the board, or do I help them out here by going for it and getting stopped?
Well, you know, it's funny that the QB sneak thing, how many times just up here in New England did we see that work for the Patriots?
Oh,
Tom Brady
was.
It was almost automatic.
Yeah, he didn't need the tush push.
No, that's what I mean.
He was
it's
so
like
good at it.
why that is not as prevalent, it seems, at the high school level. We don't see it too often.
And I think a lot of it is because a lot of teams never go under center. Chris and I talk about this quite a bit.
Yeah.
They don't go under center. Durfee does.
Yeah,
So
but a lot
you
of
can
teams
line
don't.
up. You can line up in the eye here and make it look like you're going to run off tackle,
Right.
and then the quarterback, there's going to be a gap in the middle there. He can
Yeah.
pick up a yard.
And to your point, same formation, different play.
Same formation, and then the defense has to respect it so they don't
course.
just pack the middle.
He will this time in
it's-
the eye.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can see that there's a gap there.
Yep.
So they're in the eye, and we'll go for it here well back at the 20. They're going for it on almost offsides. One of the Whalers jumped, number 70
Yeah,
moved.
They're trying to draw New Bedford
See if they're
offside.
gonna
You
try
can
to
see the
get
head
him.
bob here
Oh,
now.
he's going for
they're
it.
going to run the play.
They're
He'll
going to
get
run the
it.
play, and they've got it. A 4th down and 1 at the 20 of New Bedford, and Durfee goes for it. It just shows you the confidence Coach Taylor Brown has in his offense right now.
Tackle by Alves.
And
That
again,
one's good enough for a
conversely,
head
as I
first
said, you
down.
don't want to help New Bedford, but also as a head coach for Durfee, you can look and say, New Bedford looks like they can't do too much
Sure.
offensively. So even if we get stopped, I mean, it's not going to end up coming
Yeah.
back to hurt us.
We got a nice cushion.
Yep. Back to the ground again. Antone to the outside, having a monster first half, and is taken out of bounds after crossing midfield. Another first down for the Hilltoppers.
So you have the ball to 20, and 2 plays later, you have it in New Bedford territory, and that has been the Whalers' season in a microcosm.
Marked out of bounds at New Bedford's 48. 7:13 to go here in the first half.
2 big run plays, over 30 yards combined. Keeps the chains moving for the Hilltoppers.
Sherry keeps it, taken down after a pickup of about 3.
Sherry, the ball carrier. Tackle by Rebello.
Second quarter moving a bit faster here than the first did because both teams have kept the ball on the ground, and Durfee hasn't scored in 2 plays.
Yeah, this is true. And, you know, that's something that, you know, the Whalers, they should be able to chalk up as a bit of a win for themselves, too, is that they're forcing Durfee to make more plays. They haven't given up the big play yet here on this drive, and it's changed a little bit. They've certainly made a few adjustments. That's a nice tackle right there, right in the middle. Not getting much there on the run for Durfee, and it'll bring up, looks like it'll be a 3rd and 5.
Tackle by Alves.
Alves making that tackle for the Whalers.
Gain of 2 on the play, 3rd and 5.
Durfee taking their time here, the clock rolling to 6 minutes, halfway through the second quarter. Back in the eye again. They pitch it out.
Nobody there.
That's Cousins this time. Mosiah Cousins to the outside. A first down and a late flag from down the field where the tackle was made. Comes flying in. We'll wait to see the call on this.
Now, one person on the outside, Joe. Anyone could have got around that corner.
No, and again, that's what can happen when you can run inside. Defense compresses.
Yep.
It's a
Against
face
the
mask
Whalers,
against
yep.
New Bedford.
So there's
on the Whalers.
tack on some extra yards after that one to benefit Durfee.
In a Hilltopper first down.
So Durfee's 5th possession, and on the verge here of maybe putting their 4th touchdown on the board, the only time they were stopped again back when they fumbled the football.
And that face mask is going to literally walk Durfee into the red zone. Here, the ball down to the 14-yard line, and it's 1st and 10. They pitch it out, a lot of room, good blocking on this sideline, and to the end zone, to the pylon, touchdown! The Hilltoppers score again.
Sherry's pitch to Cousins.
That was Mosiah Cousins this time.
Hilltopper
Good for a
touchdown.
14-yard rushing play to the end zone, and it's 28-0.
Quick pitch there that time by Sherry as a New Bedford defender got in his face fast So it was a quick, short pitch, Joe. But once he got to the corner, he had some help out there from his receiver, and then it was just a race to the pylon.
Really not touched till he got to the goal line.
Sherry's kick is through the uprights, and he is 4 for 4. I'm sorry, 3 for 3 on the kicks. They had the bad snap, the 2-point conversion earlier. 29-0 Durfee, with just over 5.5 to play in the first half. And Durfee's crowd is into it right now, the home crowd. A lot of alumni. I feel like more than I usually will see. Great to see. I mean, we're going back, you know, some players from 08, 09, some graduates as recent as last year. Nice to see. We saw Coach Winarski earlier. He's been roaming the sideline back and forth. He was in the booth earlier. Always fun, and I'm sure, you know, for you guys too, when New Bedford's home, you see the same thing, players from the past. Everybody comes out for this historic matchup. Durfee kicks off. Line drive kick that time. That one wobbled and dropped. Kind of felt like a knuckleball. Fell right off the table. And the Whalers will return it short of their own 30. Looks like they'll mark them at the 28.
That drive there, 8 plays, 89 yards. Chewed up 4 minutes, Joe. And we still have 5:29 remaining here in the half.
Durfee's longest drive by yards today, right, Chris? They had one earlier that was
72, I believe. Oh,
yeah.
No, 82, I'm sorry.
82.
Yeah. So that was their longest, yeah, 8 for 89.
Well, the Whalers, let's see if they can find a little bit of a rhythm here. They got 5.5 to do it before the break. And everybody piled up and stood up right near the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or two.
Joe, if Bob Lump, I think, could see this season end, he'd want it to end right now and go home, chill out, regroup, start all over again, figure out, you know, during the offseason what he can do with his crew to boast up this this team, the numbers, and obviously the program.
Waters dropping back to pass. Pressure coming to his right. Down the field, and it is blocked. Double coverage. The intended receiver, Lennox Brunskill.
Looked like you hear Romario Rosario on the coverage. Ball hit him on the helmet as he dropped back into coverage, and it was 3 men there covering 1 for New Bedford. So not much of a chance there. Pretty well thrown ball by Waters, however, and he does have a good arm.
Yeah.
I just think he's limited in the scheme as far as what he can do throwing the football.
Yeah, it was interesting. The defensive back, you know, got his hands up, never turned to face the ball and in the face of the receiver, but never touched him. So the play continued on.
They're down and 8. Waters dropping back again. Pressure from the edge, both sides. He escapes. Direct in traffic pass is complete, but it's going to be short. I believe that was Brunskill again. He hung back.
Well, he wanted the Brunskill to go deeper, Evan, because he wanted to try to pick up the first down.
Right.
He knew Brun was not at the sticks. He wanted him to get a little bit beyond it. So New Bedford will go for it on 4th and probably 1.5.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to. I mean, what is punting going to do for you right now?
Unless he calls timeout.
Yeah, looking back to the sideline now. 4th and 1.5, as you said, Chris. Now, I don't think it's quite 2, but it's more than 1. Oh, did they get Durfee to move? No, timeout.
New Bedford moved,
no,
false
New Bedford
start.
called a timeout,
No,
I believe.
timeout. It
They're
is
going to give him the timeout
They
first.
must have just got that in because you saw both wingbacks move.
Yep. So timeout Whalers, as they will.
Generous.
Yes.
They will. They will discuss this.
I don't think there's a question of New Bedford going forward here. It's more of the play call. I'm sure they have a hurry-up sequence. Like when we do hurry-up, we probably have one play that we run. Like it's short, 4th and 1 or 2. Let's just do the fullback dive, something like that.
Right.
So that probably was not what Coach Lomp wanted to see with the defense packed in that tight. You can see here again, they've creeped into now. They're within 6 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Oh, easily. They're going to stuff the box as much as they can and just kind of figure out there. So with 3:54 to go, it's just a matter of trying not to get up another point and trying to get the first down, and so you don't let Durfee do something here.
Waters going to act like a blocker.
Wow.
That's a good play call.
Got hit at the line, but I think he got enough.
He got enough. He got to the 40. Watching the line judge in the back. He got there and then got pushed back. Good play call, good execution that time by the Whalers. They'll move the chains on 4th down.
They needed 2 yards, Chris. They got 2.3. 2 1/3 yards, just enough for a first down.
Unbelievable. In Dartmouth, a trick double pass by the Indians, and they score, and they tie this one up at 14. So a good one over there in Dartmouth. Rick White pulling out the stops there for the Indians.
Waters rolling out.
Screen.
To Brunskill. Brunskill's going to need to make a move, stiff arms, and it's wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. He ran a lot to get no gain on that.
Still
Everything
like
in the
call.
backfield.
Still like the call on first down.
Absolutely.
You have to throw the football a bit here early.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Joe. They are marking him actually for a loss. So that's the killer, right? It's you ran all that way. The QB scrambled. He dropped back like 10 yards, and you lose a yard on the play.
But at least it will spread out the Durfee defense a little bit.
Right.
You need to get away from that compressed defense as much as you can.
2nd and 11, a little reverse there.
They give it to Dos Santos.
And Waters flipped it to Furtado, who then gave it right back to Dos Santos. And that time getting 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 7. As the clock continues to roll. We're coming up on 2 minutes to play in the half.
Gain of 4 on the play, 3rd and 7.
Last 2 minutes of the half.
Waters. Oh, and it's dropped. Another drop. And, oh, a late flag from the far side.
On the hit after the play,
Yeah.
I frankly don't agree with it. A ball intended for DJ Furtado. He dropped it, then took a hit while he was down, and the official's going to call a late hit.
Yeah.
So it's going to give New Bedford a first down.
John, the other one I could see is, too, you've talked about it before with what personnel you had. And when I see Sean Waters, I think of an RPO kind of a quarterback. Get him back, run the read option, spread him to right, spread him to left. He's always on the center. He's flipping around. He's going through and handling. I'd rather see that more out of him. I think he's that kind of a style of a quarterback, and that's where I think other formations are really important in high school football.
Yeah, we've talked about it throughout the season. You need to have, I mean, part of the game is deception.
Yeah.
And if in what you run there is no deception or
Yeah.
very little deception, you're going to have a hard time moving the football because remember, you're dealing with young players on the other side of the ball. They're going to just be like, whatever you show them over and over, that's what they're going to react to.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can mix that up, you will confuse them and have opportunities for big plays. New Bedford has really not had an opportunity for a big play here today.
So the foul puts New Bedford on Durfee's side of the field. A first down, a tight spiral pass down the field.
Oh, that looked like that could have been interference.
Now, Brunskill not happy he didn't get a flag there. There were two Hilltoppers on him, and neither really turned and looked for the ball, and that's always kind of the key, right? Is did they look for the ball, or are they just in the receiver's face?
Yeah, and there was some contact. But, Chris, back to your point about spreading the field. You saw Sean Waters there throw a perfect spiral about 35, 40 yards downfield with very little effort. It wasn't one of those where you see him like winding up. He just threw that ball downfield with ease, yet you're really not able to feature his strengths.
Yeah, and all you're featuring is one wide receiver, and there's a late flag.
Yeah, from Durfee's side of the field.
Yeah, but I think it's unsportsmanlike on New Bedford because they were not happy with the back judge on the no call of the interference, but let's see.
Yes, you're right. Unsportsmanlike against New Bedford. And you can see the coach is still chirping there at the back judge.
Yeah.
And I think when you're an official, there are times when, you know what, you need to throw a flag, but there's also times when you think like, maybe I missed that one. And you know what, I got to take the criticism because you put New Bedford way behind the sticks here with a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, Coach Lump now talking to our main official on the field. He's not happy.
Yeah, and he's being demonstrative like, hey, you don't need that on top of that. You made a bad call. Now you're going to give us a 15-yard penalty. He's way out on the field.
I know. That is not.
I don't think it came from Coach Lump. I think it came from one of the other coaches. But at the same time,
but he's got to go out there and
he's got to
defend his
defend,
team.
obviously. And with 1:39 left, you're just hoping to, get out the half, go to the locker room, start all over again second half because it's been a long first half.
Yeah. Well, the personal foul that moved New Bedford to Durfee's side of the field is negated. They're back 15 yards where that last play had happened, the incomplete pass and the late hit. So 2nd down and 25. Waters will roll back.
Got a block. He's got to go back inside.
Still on his feet. Wow, escaping the tackle for Tato.
But he had a big play, Chris. You're right.
He had a block.
He had a big play. It was one-on-one with a blocker.
Yeah, he had Max Sylvia. He's got to read Max and say, you take him, you take him. And then I go the opposite way, and he didn't do it.
So he picked up about 12 or so, and there's another flag down.
A flag in the backfield.
I don't know if that was a late hit on the quarterback.
This is the makeup.
I think so.
This is the makeup for the prior penalty.
Is that a little makeup
Glad
call
you
right
said
there?
it, not me.
Well, unfortunately, as you move through the different levels of different programs, you've seen these types of calls before.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many games I coached when we were way ahead. Another touchdown will be coming, and well behind the play, a flag would mysteriously drop for holding to bring that play back. And, you get a call, maybe a bad call. Everyone kind of recognizes it. Oh, that looked like a late hit. I can throw a flag here. Close enough.
So kind of back where we all started before this.
Yes, the back and forth.
The penalties here. Yep. So 1st down for New Bedford. 74 seconds to go in the half. Waters drops back, passing far side, and it is going to be. Oh, I think that was caught.
It is.
What a catch!
That's
falling
the best
out of
ball
bounds.
we've seen all season, Chris, and the best throw. And you can see again, Chris talked about the ability of the quarterback.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
saw Sean Waters throw that ball to the far sideline. That ball's in the air, a good 30 yards, and it was right on the money. And here comes another flag.
Another flag. And this one's starting to get out of hand now. With flag after flag, but this one's on Durfee, whether it's unsportsmanlike or something that a player made a call, and Taylor Brown's going to point him out and get him off the field and take someone
At this time, we ask
to
that
take
all
his
school
place.
officials
we had
in the north end zone. That is the end zone near the concession stand.
we had no penalties in that first quarter, and now here in the second, we've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
I like the move here by Taylor Brown. He's like, wait a minute, we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
You come off the field, and you sit out here for a few plays.
Yeah. And I wouldn't mind seeing Waters run the ball a little bit more too, Joe. Get him scrambling around and get him running. He's fast. He's shifty too. So I wouldn't mind seeing him have a couple of keepers along the way.
And New Bedford here should throw the football
Absolutely.
the rest of the afternoon here and just see what they have in their quarterback and maybe come back and reassess what they're doing with their offense, because that is a perfect throw, and he's made a few throws here that show that he has the ability to do so.
First and goal, Whalers.
Coach Brown is fired up.
Unfortunately,
Really giving it to
Waters is a senior. So
Wow.
he's done after this season. But that was an outstanding throw.
Well, we've seen this many times too, Joe, where they get to this position and have not been able to convert at all to get in the end zone this year for New Bedford.
Now Coach Lump getting, I mean, the time in between these flags too is just
Yeah, this has been a long
way too much dialogue.
3 to 4
Let's
minutes.
go.
Yeah. I agree with that.
It's one explanation. You just say,
Yeah.
hey, he said this, boom, we move on.
Yeah.
Or he did this, bang, we move
It's just
on.
like a trial court.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Bob Lump wants right now.
I don't know, but Coach Brown was pretty heated when they came over to him on this side.
He's got the first down that he wanted. And so now he's talking to the players now and say, okay, fellas,
Let's calm
listen
down,
up.
maybe.
This is, we're all done with this horseplay.
Kind of get the feeling that
We wanna play
something's
football.
going to go down in the second half.
Yeah,
and,
we
and
wanna
you
play
hope
football.
not, but you just kind
Well,
of.
that's what they're warning here.
I know,
They're warning both sides.
They're saying if you guys keep it up, you're going to go to the sideline.
Yeah.
You're not going to get 2 chances here. You're going to go to the sideline if you do something.
This first half over 1 hour old as we roll up close to 11:30 here. Kickoff was at 10:15. A very long first half from Durfee High School. And finally, we will have a snap. New Bedford with a first and goal situation. Can they punch it in or will they stall out?
Stall out looks
Yeah, we got
right
to
now.
lose yardage here to Santo.
Brunskill that time.
Like I said, I'd like to see Waters, with the ball and scramble and
The Santos
run
football
around
carrier,
and stay busy.
tackled by Haji.
Well, you're right. It wasn't
Second and goal.
DeSantos.
I would have passed. To your point, right? First down, why not take a pass to the end zone, see what you got. Clock is running, so it would stop the clock if you don't make it. Waters rolling out, looking to his
Run it
left.
yourself.
There's only one guy there. Now he's going to redirect.
He's got plenty of time on this side.
And he had a man wide open in the end
Yeah, I don't
zone.
know about that.
20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, puts the shoulder down, takes a big hit. Did pick up a couple, it appears.
Better call timeout now.
Man, oh man. Ran a country mile before finally
Waters,
getting
the
used.
ball
Lucky to
carrier.
get back to the line of
God, I was
scrimmage.
watching Fran Tarkenton out there for a second there, Joe.
Whalers.
That
Moving
is
from that
correct.
side all the way to the other
Yeah,
side
or Patrick Mahomes.
on Turkey Day morning. I mean,
Yeah, he went to the left, then he went back to the right.
My gosh.
And then, as you mentioned, he did take a big hit, lowered his shoulder. You can tell he's been determined. Several times during the season,
Yeah.
he's been replaced at quarterback. And I'm not saying I know it was justified or not justified, but you can tell here today he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Sure.
He's thrown the ball well when he had the opportunity. There, he refused to go down.
Yeah.
He could have thrown the ball away when he was here on this near sideline. Just throw it away and live for another down. But
Right. No, he
he's
didn't
trying
want
to
to.
make a play.
Well, when he rolled this way, I mean, he had room. He got in the flat, but there was only one receiver breaking to the left, and he was behind the 2 defenders. So how do you throw over there? You
No.
can't.
No, when he started to roll back to his right, there was someone open, but
Yeah.
once he was far away from that receiver. It would have
Yeah.
been an almost impossible throw.
I mean,
By
he
the
got
time
back-
he got in position to throw it, it was too late.
He was back at the 25-yard line, Joe. I mean, that's a long way out. I mean, he escaped the tackle. Good for him that he got some yards out of it. That's incredible. But third and goal from the 7
and
with
they
15
replaced
seconds.
him at quarterback after that hit.
pass.
Oh, no, there he
here's-
is.
here's Water.
He came
He-
off the edge.
he
A little
was-
trickery, and it's
He was the
not going
wingback.
to pan out. Incomplete.
They put in Ethan Bryan at quarterback,
Yeah.
and then
Pass
had
intended for Martinez is incomplete.
Waters at the wing. The unfortunate part of that is that's not going to fool
Fourth and
anyone
goal.
this late in the game. If
Right.
you did it as the first play of a game when teams
Yeah.
are maybe not used to who's out there,
Yeah.
it might work. At this point, you move him to wing back. People are saying, that's the quarterback. Why is he at wing? No,
Sure.
they're going to do something here with him throwing the football.
So it'll be most likely the last play of the half with 9 seconds to go, or at least it'll be the last play for New Bedford. 4th and 7, 4th and goal from the 7.
They're going to have to get this play off fairly quickly here.
It took a lot of time in the huddle. Clock did stop because of the incompletion. And the Whalers hoping to find the end zone here before the half. Waters escapes some pressure. To the end zone it goes. And it is picked off by the Hilltoppers. In the end zone. And Antone out of bounds. The clock is at 0. And the first half ends with Durfee leading 29-0 on Thanksgiving. A dominating first half, to say the least. And Coach Brown and the coaches directing Durfee's players completely away from New Bedford. There's a lot of
At the end of the first half.
Energy.
That's a good word. There is a lot of energy on the field. And Durfee happy that they're putting it to their century-old rivals, but we got to watch the second half. The officials need to make sure they have control over this one. But you guys, I guess from what you said and from what we've seen in the scores and whatnot, kind of expected.
Yeah, and New Bedford stalling out multiple times when they're within range of scoring is something we saw throughout the season, Chris.
Yeah, it sure is, and it's that's a perfect example there. And I had said it, don't expect to see it in the end zone because we haven't seen it in the end zone. So they've had their chances, they've gotten there, but they're not able to execute when they get in the red zone. It's been a problem all season long. These referees are talking in the middle right now. Yeah. They want to make sure that this game runs smooth in the second half. So they've already talked to the players. I'm sure they'll go in and talk to the coaches as well and say, fellas, we're not going to take this. Let's make sure we get this way we want it come second half.
Well, you guys, as I said, we talked to coaches earlier. I did have a chance to talk to two of the players, Logan Damaris, one of them, and Suleiman Haji from Durfee, the only graduating lineman this year. So that's another thing. You talk about how good the front has been for the Hilltoppers. They're only losing one guy going into next season. But had a chance to speak with both of them. Let's hear from the players on Thanksgiving.
Coaches have always told us that every Thanksgiving game, the record's reset, 0-0, nothing else matters. A whole new rivalry, anything can happen, but you can expect anything. Nothing, you can't expect anything to be the same as last year or the year before. Just something new can happen every year. It's just a whole different ball game.
When you think of Thanksgiving Day football, knowing how big of a rivalry this is, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Just playing as hard as we can and trying to have a different outcome than we did all the rest of the season and just at least win something this year.
This game means everything to us. To me, my team, my coaches, especially Taylor Barron, he loves this game. We prepare for it all year. Last year's New Bedford game was one of them. It was like a mud bowl, rain, mud, all that. That was an amazing game. We won too. I think that with our quarterback, he's going to be a senior. Most of our receivers are still going to be young. I think we'll be great. We'll be good. All the linemen, I'm the only graduating lineman on both sides of the ball, so I think that they'll be set.
And that's confidence, right? You need that front line to protect your quarterback who's going to be a senior next year. And Haji's had a great career here as the Hilltoppers, one of their linesmen here. But now one other question, which I didn't put on the tape because it was just for fun and out of curiosity, something I never asked after all these years. What's your favorite food on Thanksgiving? So I'll let you guys answer that first, and I'll tell you what they said. Chris, how about you?
Well, listen, I'm a dessert guy, so I'll take the pies.
Oh, the sweets, all right.
And I'll go with that.
But which pie?
Well, hey, listen, chocolate cream, little pumpkin. We get a little bit of everything where I'm at. So I don't go heavy on one. I kind of just dabble in and out of different things like that.
Yeah, so earlier in my life, I would have answered something like stuffing or chocolate cream pie, but for those who know me now, my carbohydrate levels are very low, so I have to go with turkey. So turkey's my favorite.
Well, interestingly enough, Coach Lump, Suleiman, and Mr. Damaris there, they all said stuffing. Taylor Brown, health nut, says butternut squash.
There you go.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. So I'm partial to the turkey, the stuffing, that combination there, but. Needless to say. Hey,
and what I think I like the most out of all four of those, Evan, they talk about not just football, but they talk about tradition. They talk about what it is to be a family. They talk about, where we're going from here. and how we see it as a team. And that's what this is all about.
Exactly.
This is what this tradition is all about. And, again, you talk about the records, you can throw them out, even if they were both 10-0, if they're whatever it is, compared to 0-10. You just say, hey, it's one game, we go from here, and we worry about this kind of rivalry that goes on. It's always fun to see that, and it's nice, not just here, but all across the state.
Well, I think that's why, Joe, when we see, the extra energy, the jarring and this and that, it's one thing to have competitive edge, but that's why we get upset when we start seeing it really get, over the top, because everybody wants to win so bad, but you forget that it's about tradition, and you don't want to make that look bad. I mean, the brawl that happened a couple years ago took Fenway Park away.
Yeah, you
I
make your school look bad.
This is such a historic rivalry that, the players, I'm glad to see that they get it. I'm hoping it doesn't get ugly in the second half. It hasn't been this one-sided in a game in a very long time.
And your point there about Fenway, players forget that this game was headed to Fenway Park.
It was, yeah.
And because of that bit of histrionics where people were not under control, that ended up forfeiting that. And then we saw two young men, very well spoken. It wasn't a matter of just, answering things and just kind of with the like. No, they were very well spoken. To Chris's point, they talked about tradition. They talked about their school in the future. Haji saying that, they'll be in good shape next year. You're gone next year, but he's still thinking about that. So,
totally.
I mean, those are well-spoken young men that represent their schools well, and let's hope we have that type of second half.
Yeah, and I give the schools a lot of credit, Evan, because you should know about this, how they do the tradition now of New Bedford students coming to Durfee and talking and getting together.
The player breakfast
I know
stuff.
Fairhaven and Dartmouth do a player breakfast. They get that. That never used to happen. That's something new now, and they continue that tradition on to help out the cause of what this day and game means to both schools.
All right, folks. Well, we have about 8 minutes left in the halftime break, according to the clock. I doesn't look like the bands are coming out. I thought they were going to, but or maybe they're making their way now. But if we're going to take a quick break here in the booth, we have some feature packs to show you. And if the bands do hit the field and we're able to come back, we shall. But you're watching live Thanksgiving Day football on Fred TV. Halftime here at Mack Aldridge Field.
Right here, 150 years ago, a bustling rail line cut through the Spindle City.
The Old Colony Line was among the most utilized railroads in the United States.
People, mainly immigrants, some children, labored in mills. The railroad was essential to manufacturing and passenger service.
However, transportation methods evolved. For generations, these grafts of land were wasted space. Years of careless industry polluted the Quequechan River. Cherished by Native people, the name translates to falling water.
Conservationists advocated to reverse environmental damage and repurpose the tracks. The architectural firm, Brown, Richardson, and Rowe, designed the pathway which opened in 2017. Some components are visionary. Other sections replicate endeavors in cities elsewhere.
Quequechan River Rail Trail is hidden by tree cover to buffer highway noise. The 2.5-mile route is habitat for many species, which, when quietly observed, foster an innate respect for nature. 12 years ago, voters approved a 1.5% property surcharge to fund the Community Preservation Act. Totaling nearly $425,000, CPA money was necessary for each phase of the rail trail.
Expansion is dependent upon continued revenue. Fall River joins other communities to develop a continuous 50-mile route of the South Coast Bikeway. CPA funds have supported thousands of significant projects in Massachusetts. Thank you for your continued interest in community beautification and betterment.
St. Anne's Shrine is an anchor building to Fall River.
Many worshipers have claimed that this landmark is the site of miraculous healings.
Construction began in 1891. The Romanesque revival style is unprecedented, and the 160-foot steeples are visible from all directions. The congregation was established generations ago when builders mined world-renowned Fall River granite located at the base and utilized Vermont blue marble for the upper exterior walls.
"40 years ago, the shrine was added to the National Register of Historic Places. Despite some disrepair, this is a working building, open for prayer and reflection. In addition, a Christian lay organization distributes food from here on Saturdays."
Amazingly, 3 priests are entombed below. Volunteers with St. Anne's Shrine Preservation Society expect this house of worship will again welcome pilgrims from near and far, as well as historians, architects, and school children.
11 years ago, voters approved a 1.5% property surcharge to fund the Community Preservation Act. Over $150,000 was awarded for repairs on the southern side of the building. Craftsmen are entrusted to restore the slate roof tiles, copper gutters, and downspouts. Phase 2 entails duplicate copper and slate work, as well as repointing of mortar joints. These efforts will permit the upper church to reopen for the public.
CPA funds have supported thousands of significant projects in Massachusetts. Thank you for your continued interest in community beautification and betterment.
Hi, my name is Stephanie MacArthur. I am the Director of Traffic and Parking. Implementing a parking ban is essential to ensure access for emergency vehicles and to allow snowplows to safely and effectively clear the roadways. Notification of a parking ban will be made as early as possible to ensure that the residents can relocate their vehicles if necessary. Generally, vehicles should be parked opposite side of the fire hydrant. Parking ban decisions are storm dependent. For information on where to park during a parking ban, especially when accumulating snow is expected, please visit our website at www.fallriverma.gov. In addition, during a parking ban, you may call my office at 508-324-2123 or the mayor's office at 508-324-2600. These lines will remain open throughout the duration of the parking ban. Thank you for your assistance and cooperation.
I'm Mike Labossiere, What's Upper Reservation Forester.
And I'm Paul Ferlin, the Administrator of Community Utilities.
Protecting open space is a benefit today, and it's a gift to future generations.
For over 150 years, Fall River has been a leader in environmental preservation. The Southeastern Massachusetts Bioreserve ensures forests and fields remain undeveloped and accessible. The Community Preservation Act is a vital component to fulfill climate goals.
Since 2017, CPA funds totaling nearly $1.3 million have been used to acquire conservation areas in Fall River. Educational programs within the Bioreserve connect families to nature and promote understanding and respect for diverse culture, history, and wildlife.
Half of Fall River, about 12,000 acres, an area the size of Mattapoisett, is protected water and woodland. Healthy forests minimize flooding, reduce erosion, and provide habitat for endangered species.
As the region expands manufacturing and technology, people are directly reliant on green infrastructure as an irreplaceable source of clean water and air.
Miles of trails wind through unique landscapes which appeal to hikers, cross-country skiers, and mountain bikers. Specific areas are open for safe seasonal hunting. The Bioreserve promises endless discoveries and recreational experiences year-round.
CPA funds have supported thousands of significant projects in Massachusetts. Thank you for your continued interest in community beautification and betterment.
Back to Romero. Romero forges ahead. Touchdown, Hilltoppers.
coming in, you're really like scared, you might be a little nervous, but I think being a part of a team gives you friends who can come with you all the way through high school, and then coaches looking out for you. I think as an athlete, you can improve and learn like the art of dedication.
That shot taken. Cadet will take the shot and score.
Hard work pays off. Like from my freshman year, starting off hardly knowing anything about sports to now my junior year, having almost all the school records in track and field. I feel like this school shows a lot of opportunities in classrooms and out of classrooms.
High flip to Espinal. Open three. Got it! Big time hit from Granham.
Durfee has such a great community, such great pride, you know, we're people who love to be here, we love to compete, we love to play, and it's such a great opportunity.
Corralled by Camara, full steam ahead, weaving through traffic, takes the shot, and it's good! Camara, coast to coast!
I made a lot of great friends playing sports. I really appreciate how it fosters a community amongst all of the athletes, even in between sports seasons.
Good pass up the field, gets some good backspin on it, and it is a loose ball, shot, and it's good! To tie it, it's good! Medeiros on the PK!
You have a lot of support and a lot of people around you. It's a good environment, especially the sports teams.
Great. O'Connell with the three, and the lead is over 30.
I know how much pride it takes to be a topper, so it made me work harder so I can be more successful.
It's really great to just be able to learn accountability, reliability, just getting involved in school, and I feel like the best way to do that is to join a sport.
In the air in a deep left field. Coppola heading back at the wall. It's gone! 3-run home run for Montilla, and it's a 2-run game. We welcome you back to Durfee's Mac Aldridge Field, home of the Hilltoppers on this Thanksgiving Day game. A beautiful Thanksgiving Day. You know, we lucked out, gentlemen, with the weather because the initial forecast showed similar to last year, but it all pushed out yesterday, and we have nothing but sun here and nothing but happiness if you're a Hilltopper fan. A 29-0 advantage with 30 seconds left here in the halftime break, this mandatory warm-up period. Evan Masu, Joe Cabral, Chris Santos, glad that we have collaborated once again. Always a pleasure to have you guys here. And, well, here we go, second half. What kind of adjustments could be made, and what's the message if you're the Whalers coaching staff to the players?
I think the first thing, regardless of the side of the field you're on, is you're telling your players, hey, wait a minute. We're going to respect the game here in the second half. We're not going to get out of control here. Anyone who gets out of control will be on the sideline and stay there for the rest of the game. And then if you're New Bedford, you're like, I mean, from a coach's perspective, I would be of the opinion, let's try things that we have not done well at during the season. Let's not just stay with the same bread and butter. If we have a little bit of variety in our offense, let's try some of those things. Let's let the quarterback throw the football a bit. See if we can put some points on the board. You get a couple touchdowns, I guess you can say you never know. But New Bedford has to do more, and it has to be a big play offense, Chris, if they are going to score points, because we saw what we've seen throughout the season. They get stalled down even when they move the football.
Yeah, that's true. And you look at it from the opposite end. What does Taylor Brown say to his team? Hey, let's not do anything stupid. Let's not get the flags. Let's just play, Durfee football. We'll probably put our starters in first couple of possessions, and then I'll ease some other guys who maybe don't play as much with this kind of a lead and kind of, edge that way in there. They're going to get the ball first here to start the second half. And if you're New Bedford, you just hope to play some defense and don't give up any more points because you've already given up 29 for a half.
Joe, I liked your point as well about the, kind of going to your bag of tricks. At this point, right, New Bedford's got nothing to lose. So why not? And I know I said that a couple times when Durfee had a couple winless seasons. Said the same thing. So what do you have to lose? It's the last game. You're down by 4 scores. Just throw it out there. Why not?
You only have so many plays, but there are some that maybe you don't use that often, and you can see if they'll work.
A squib kick. It is picked up by Antone as we begin the third quarter. Antone has a couple defenders to beat. He's still on his feet and will get tripped up at the 40 for one heck of a return here.
Found a seam, Chris, and they're fortunate that they were able to bring him down where they did at the 40-yard line of New Bedford.
I thought it was a great kick, but it's just a better return. They set it up the wall pretty good. He found the seam, went down the right hash marks, stayed there. He was maybe one tackle away from taking it to the distance.
Those squib kicks work well because they're hard to handle. But in that instance, it bounced up perfectly for Antone.
And that's the key.
And then he handled it, and New Bedford was not in position at that point because the kick gets there quickly. There's no hang time on squib kicks.
No, but you're right. Football is not a sphere, so it does not roll. And it can kick one way, kick another.
So we have some chain issues, fellas.
Yeah.
I guess that when they put it down at the half, they got tangled, and the chains are tangled up, and they cannot get the first down marker to untangle to go the 10 yards, and the officials are meeting on that sideline to figure out how to solve that problem.
Well, anything that could prolong this game has happened here this morning. It's like, I know Chris likes to eat his turkey on time, but nah, you guys,
I don't think so.
It's going to be a lot later than you normally expect.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Is some extension? Do we have all 10 yards?
Stretch it out.
Full extension.
Let's see
there we
here.
Go.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. All right, Durfee going to start this drive from the Whalers' 40-yard line after that big return from Antone. And they'll go to the ground here. I mean, I think if you're Durfee, right? I mean, yes, you're up by the 4 scores. There's a limit to how much you pile it on. And at this point, keep the clock rolling. If they score again and they go into the fourth quarter with 35 or more points to lead, the clock runs. That's part of the rules now. So, you get through the third quarter and the fourth quarter may be considerably quick.
Yeah, I don't think they need anything fancy here,
No.
guys. Smash mouth football. You got New Bedford reeling. They're on their heels.
Exactly.
You're up 29-0. Just go at them hard and run the football.
Oh, Sherry reaching out one-handed. That snap was high and to his left. Now taken off down the sideline, out of bounds, short of the 10.
Even when a play looks busted.
Yeah.
We've seen Durfee's quarterback, Matthew Sherry, able to make something of it. That ended up being a big play as he headed down that left sideline. Now, Chris, we were talking earlier about formations. We've talked several times about it. Now they're using a pistol with a fullback. So it's at least the third formation that we've seen. They've been in shotgun several times and different shotguns with different numbers of receivers. It is varied. But when you go into pistol, when you go into center with eye, when you go into shotgun, even with different numbers of receivers in different positions, you create different looks.
Yeah, that was going to be an option play, but the hole was so big, he said, forget it. I don't need to pitch it. I'm going to do it myself.
From the 15, Antone will get spun down. Nice job hanging on there. The tackle, was that number 5? It looked like,
Antone,
yes, that was Logan Alves.
Tackle by Alves.
Good job there. As we know, Antone is tough to tackle. He kept still pumping the legs, but Alves hanging on tight there for no gain, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, averaging 7.4 yards a carry. He's got 5 touchdowns on the season. over 700 yards of rushing for the young man for the Hilltoppers.
So 2nd down and 10. Sherry faking and keeping it himself as he gets down to the 10. About halfway there. Looks like they had lost a yard. They marked, by the way, on that last play, it was it was actually 2nd and 11.
Just a quarterback power there, something you saw a lot from a team like Notre Dame when they had Riley Leonard last year. Snap it to the quarterback. He's the lone back. And pull a guard, and then you run power with your quarterback.
And having the ability to do that too, it just expands everything so much. I mean, you have solid running backs this year, and you have a very mobile quarterback who's tough to tackle, who's fast. It just makes life so much easier to have those options to go to. 3rd down and 6. Waiting on a score update from New Bedford. See how the Bengals are doing against the Bears. They will go to Antone. Antone has a big hole, leaps, and is in the end zone. Touchdown, Durfee. And it's 35-0. Short field, and they made quick work of it. Less than 3-minute drive.
Right down the field for Durfee, moving the football exclusively on the ground. That's what they've done for the most part here this morning. Had the one real big pass play, but other than that, they've just moved it on the ground.
Five plays, 40 yards in over 2 minutes and 54 seconds, pretty much.
36-0 with the point after. And Durfee up by 5 touchdowns here on Thanksgiving. You know, I mentioned Diamond Regional. They're out in New Bedford right now, playing the vocational counterpart from New Bedford. And I don't have an update yet from Bobby Bailey, but Diamond with 2 great games. We saw one of them, Greater Lowell. The Griffins were here for the first game of the Voc tournament this year. They went out to see the #1 seed Greater Lawrence. They beat them 21-20 last week, and they earned a spot in the championship for the first time. They're going to play Whittier on Wednesday at 6, and as long as we don't get any bad weather, we're heading up there. So this is not our last football game of the fall. We're going to head out to Medford, Hormel Stadium, for the Voc championship game, see if the Bengals can take home the title. So really exciting stuff, and we're very much looking forward to that on Wednesday night, live from Medford. Kickoff taken from the 20, and less than 10 yards on the return.
Over in Dartmouth, I think Alexion has scored for Fairhaven, and with 2 minutes to go, it's Fairhaven 21, Dartmouth 14. So the Blue Devils go into the Super Bowl to play Norwell on the first Saturday. Well, maybe not Saturday for them, but could be Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, whichever one they got for them. So they're up by 7 over in Dartmouth.
Whalers starting from their own 28-yard line. Waters acting as a blocker. And then stopped after about 6 yards. That's a good play on first down. One of their better first down plays of the morning. That was DeSantos.
DeSantos, the ball carrier. Gain of 6 on the play, 2nd and 4.
You're talking about Fairhaven and Dartmouth, Chris. It seems like every year those two teams, it's always a battle. It's like always down to last possession.
I would say over the last 20, 30 years that that competition has been pretty tight amongst the two schools. There were a time there when Dartmouth had dominated, and prior to that, there was a time when Fairhaven had dominated. So, you know, they're pretty close in their series head-to-head, which is nice to see. So, I'm sure it's another good one over in Dartmouth.
Durfee Score remains the same here. Durfee ends up picking up this game. They'll be 6-6 in their last 12 against New Bedford under Coach Brown's time. And a first down for the Whalers.
Desmarais with a hard run in there to get the first down for New Bedford.
He got a little push from behind by Lennox Brunskill, but Desmarais, you can see he can carry a tackler here or there. It's just that quite often he's double and triple team gang tackled, and no one can run through those tackles.
Got it down to up to the 45-yard line, and a fresh set of downs for New Bedford. This time to Furtado. And Furtado continuing, pumping the legs. He's going to be just short of the first down. Another good play on the ground. So dare I say, a little rhythm here offensively for the Whalers on this second half drive.
Good execution on this series of downs thus far. And we have seen it during the season. So games we've done, we've seen New Bedford move the ball like this on occasion, move it down the field, but then they really get stymied in the red zone.
Second down and 1. Trying to cut in. Waters creating the block. Now getting pulled back, but I think he got there.
DeSantos.
Yeah, it looked like DeSantos may have just gotten there and gotten enough before getting pulled back. And they will move the chain. So it's a first down for New Bedford.
And in this system, Joe, and we've talked about this before, your quarterback is actually a blocker sometimes.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that personally, but that's how his system works, and that's how it goes. So you got to be careful, too, because a lot more times he could go in there and get hurt on a block or something like that. And, it makes it very difficult.
Halfway through the third. 6 minutes gone, 6 to go. Waters in trouble. Gets the pass off, but took a big hit. Brunskill, the intended receiver, in triple coverage down the field along the sideline.
Waters' pass intended for Brunskill is incomplete.
Now the positive there, even on an incompletion, you see 4 Durfee defenders downfield. So if they have to respect the pass, then you have an opportunity to run the football. And so that's really the yin and the yang of having a complementary football on the offensive side of things. Both the ability to run the football and to throw it, spreads out the defense, makes them respect both sides of how you can move the football.
So the incompletion, second down and 10. Desmarais spinning.
Hold on to the ball.
Yep, and the whistle will sound.
Because once you got one guy wrapped up, it's about stripping the ball after that. And you can see all black jerseys trying to rip that ball out of number 8.
By Rosario and Anton.
Good for 4 yards, third down and 6.
Gain of 4 on the play, 3rd and 6.
Well, the score the way it is, not a lot of drama here. The crowd rather quiet. The cheerleaders trying to rile them up, but Durfee had this one in its pocket pretty early with 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. They hand it off. That's going to be a first down for the Whalers as they continue to move the ball down the field.
Yeah, you saw the defensive ends go up high that time, Joe, thinking they were going to give the ball in motion to Furtado. They come back underneath with the dive to Desmarais to get the first down.
Or potentially throw the football where you're rolling out, which we've seen a lot from Waters. So, again, once you diversify your attack a bit even, you can see how things open up a little bit more.
Well, let's see what they do on first. They're going to run it again here. First down play. That'll be good for about 3. And you know, the thing is if you find that rhythm, you don't need 10, 11, 12 yards every single play. You know, one of our former quarterback, one of my classmates, B.J. McDonald, always said it. Just
tackled by Gondry.
3-4 yards every play, and you stay ahead of the sticks.
You get 3 tries at it, sometimes 4.
As
I mean,
long as you don't
easier said than-
fumble, as long as you don't have penalties. And so, again, those are the obstacles
Of course.
in high school where it's a little more,
Is that
it's a little
reverse?
difficult to execute that consistently.
DeSantos. Oh, we're still pushing back. Oh, that should be a flag. Yeah, it should be. I mean, come on. You can't do that. The whistle, I mean, you're carrying him, Antone. Come on, bud. You can't do that.
Well, they're going to do the
DeSantos
flag, I
ball
think,
carrier.
on New Bedford.
Wow.
After the late hit. They were not going to give the one to Durfee. They're going to give the one on New Bedford.
I'm surprised by that.
And that's why it's so difficult to score when you just matriculate the ball, because you get a penalty like that,
Yeah.
especially with New Bedford's offense, and it basically will stop your drive.
I'm really surprised that they at least weren't then offsetting, because you can't carry
That
the guy
would have been
either.
the right call.
Right, you can't carry the guy
That would have been the right call.
5
yeah.
seconds after the whistle blew either. That's
and you had him like pogoing around because you had one leg
Right.
up in the air that you're carrying.
So that should have at least been dual penalties. I'm
Should have been
very surprised by that.
Should have been offset, but the officials, again, sometimes they just judge who does what they do last.
Yeah, and that's been a couple now on number 55, Gelmani Velez.
Yeah.
He's got that club around his arm over there. So, unfortunately for them, it's 3rd down and way back now for the Whalers.
In a game like this, it doesn't matter, but if it was a close game, a penalty like that can decide the outcome.
Yep.
So 3rd down and it looks like 19. Maybe 18. Waters will drop back to pass. Fires one. Perfect spiral. And that's pass interference all day long. The home crowd doesn't like it, but
Again, you know a flag goes one way. You get the back judge who missed the call earlier.
There it is.
And now he's got, here's my chance. I'm not letting this one go. He threw the flag. And
but it's a good call, honestly.
Yeah,
The
there was contact.
Yeah.
But less contact, to be frank with you, on this one than on the other play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is the one that he could have said, you know, he was in position.
Yeah.
Remember, in high school football, it's a 15-yard penalty. It's not a spot foul.
Pass interference on the Hilltoppers.
You can see they're marking it at the 26-yard line. It's still 3rd down because it's a 15-yard penalty in high school and college, and it's not an automatic 1st down in high school.
Right. So the Whalers still have to convert here. Furtado can't cut in. He's going to be stopped a yard or 2 short.
Another 4th down for New Bedford, Chris.
Tackled by Pena.
Yeah, and with 1.5, 2 yards, you go to your best play and see what it was. We've seen Dismaris off tackle a few times. Maybe they'll go in that direction. Let's see where they want to play this one.
4th and 2. They got 1 yard on that 3rd and 3. Nice play call right there. They faked it. I don't think Waters ever touched the ball. It looked like it was a direct snap. And it's a 1st down for the Whalers. They do convert on 4th and 2.
Dismaris, the ball carrier, tackled by Pena.
As many a coach has said, it's players, not plays in critical situations. There, Chris pointed to the best player on New Bedford's offense. Dismaris, he gets the 1st down.
So the Whalers in the red zone at the 20, 1st and 10. They reverse it. Furtado to DeSantos. And he will dive forward for a gain of about 3 or 4.
DeSantos, the ball carrier.
See, in a perfect example there, he actually needed a block
Pena
from
on the
Waters, the quarterback, to get his man inside so he could get the corner. And you're asking
Gain
a
of 3
quarterback
on the
to
play.
do that.
2nd and 7.
And one that's of slight build.
Yeah.
He's not extremely powerful. That's why we saw during the regular season Ethan Bryant at quarterback, because they used him more like a blocker. And when we've looked at this system in years past, whether at Apponequet or Wareham, a lot of times the quarterback is really designed to be the lead blocker all the time. Rarely throw the football.
Furtado in motion. They go to Damaris.
And that plays work, Joe. They counter off of that, going the outside, thinking they're going to pitch and make a sweep, then they come back underneath. And so Durfee ain't staying home. Again, you know, we're not sure. I'm sure Taylor Brown's already made some changes on both sides of the ball. So, you know, might be able to run a little bit more. And we've seen New Bedford score against some of the second teamers from other teams as a player is down and injured for the Hilltoppers.
That's number 55 there, Suleiman Haji, who we heard at halftime in our player pack. As he does get up and able to walk it off here. Whalers do get the first down. It's 1st and goal for New Bedford. Whalers have been shut out 4 times in 2025 in 9 games, hoping to avoid it here on Thanksgiving. 10 yards from the house. That was Desmaris. Good for maybe 2. Didn't look like that. Did not look like the cleanest handoff.
No, slow developing.
Yeah, compared to some of the other
the
times they've run that play, that time it looked like it was just not a good transfer.
Yeah, we talked about execution, precision. So on a play like that, that has to be, the timing has to be perfect. That handoff is perfect, on time, hole develops on time, running back hits the hole on time. That was delayed.
2nd and goal from the 8. DeSantos does not get too far. As we have the third quarter winding down here, just 10 seconds left in the third. And the thing is, Whalers are not going to get a playoff here before the 4th. And with that, it'll be 36-0 and the deficit 35 or more points. We'll now have a running clock in the 4th. That would have been different if New Bedford got in to score right now.
Right.
So this game is going to be shortened. We will have a running 12-minute clock for the final quarter here as Durfee inches closer to making it 2 in a row on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they've dominated the game, and rightfully so. They've had the better team throughout the season. They performed well here today. Only had really 1 mistake, turned the football over. Jet sweep.
That's
fumble.
right. Yeah, we forgot about that one. That's really the only
that's
miscue.
it. They've never punted the football. They've had a total of 6 possessions. 5 of them resulted in touchdowns.
Yeah, it's about as dominating as you will see on Thanksgiving, at least. It's been a very long time. I look back to that we called it Fall 2.0, right? The COVID school year, 2020 to 2021, and we played the 5-game season in April. And that, for me, that was such a lost season because Durfee was very good that year. They had Jason Hall, who got the 1,000 yards during that game in just the 5 games. And man, that was a team I really wanted to see play 10 or 11 games. But that game, I think, was a 45-6 or something like 45-7. It was a high-scoring game. But before that and before today, most of these games have been fairly close. It's been a long time since anybody had gotten into the 40s for points.
We were trying to figure out, Evan, if New Bedford has ever had a winless season. We do
you were telling me about that.
We do not have an answer for that, and we are not sure. So that's how tough it's been this year for them.
Yeah. Certainly as far back as we can see, they haven't.
Right.
So obviously we don't have records all the way back.
Yep. Sure.
Tackle by Martin.
On 3rd down and goal.
4th and goal.
That play was spoiled right away, had no chance to develop.
And here we are again, 4th and goal. So we're in the
familiar.
They lost 2.
We're in the red zone.
They lost 2 yards there as well, Joe. So now it's going to be 4th and goal from the 8. And the clock will just continue to roll In the second half here, that has been a fraction of the time that the first half was. We had very long first and second quarters between the touchdowns and all the penalties we saw in the second quarter were just very long in between snaps. 4th and goal from the 8. Can the Whalers make it happen? Waters will roll out. Well covered are his receivers. Picked in the air. Can he get there? No. It's a great effort. And that was a really, really good stretch, leaping up the ladder there to get that ball in the air, but not enough.
If the ball would have been delivered on time and in stride, he would have gone in.
That's a possibility.
Because he had to go up high to get it.
Stop, fumbled it, get it where he wanted it.
Allowed too many defenders to get there.
Yep.
And aside from Damaris, New Bedford doesn't have a lot of offensive threats, players who can break tackles and make plays when defenders are there.
Yeah.
And he's really the only one you've seen today really break tackles, get through a defender. Most of the other players for New Bedford have to be in the open.
An update from New Bedford Vogue. Diamond, the Bengals and the Bears tied 7-7 with 26 seconds left in regulation.
Oh, wow.
How's that?
How's that for Thanksgiving Day?
That's a good game, huh?
That's a really, 3 players hurt, all top players, according to Bobby Bailey. So, and they got a short week for the championship, the Vogue Championship, coming up, playing on Wednesday.
Fumble, and New Bedford gets the ball.
Wow.
Yeah,
Durfee coughing it up at around the 5, their second turnover of the game, and the Whalers are going to get a gift.
So New Bedford gets the football right back. Looks like right at the 5-yard line.
And luckily the Hilltoppers, right, they have the cushion here. They can afford to make the error, but the turnovers, haven't seen a lot of them lately. So this is a bit unusual. 2 in this game, 2 fumbles. Durfee's been pretty decent with ball security of late. 1st and goal for the Whalers. Damaris gets stopped at around the 2.
Again, when you see the wing back come across fast, and then he just stops behind the tackle, you know the play is a pitch to Damaris to that side. So a defensive player, after a while, you have to have some type of counter off that. Or the defense is always going to be there, and you need just superior play in your blocking and certainly in your running back.
From the 2, 2nd and goal. Oh, it's going to be awfully close. I think he's half a yard short. The line judge on the near side coming into the green of the turf. The line judge on the far side was right on the goal line, and they're going to mark him short. Good Lord.
From the 1-yard line.
The ball is literally inches from the goal line. I mean, this is as close as you can get.
You couldn't even fit a turkey drumstick in there between the goal line and the football, Chris.
That's awesome.
It's 36-0. I figured they'd give him something out of the deal. And they're going to say, no, his knee was down. So
sneak it.
I wouldn't be surprised here.
They did not sneak it. And DeSantos has stood up for a loss of a yard. I can't believe Waters under center did not dive forward and sneak it in.
Oh, no, we can believe, Evan, because we've seen it before. And we've seen this all season, and it's just...
Or give it to the... Or
Dismaris, give it to your best
give
player.
it to Dismaris. At worst case, obviously, you have a touchdown if you sneak it.
Of course you do.
You're inches away. High school football, they don't stuff quarterback sneaks when it's inches.
So you backed up. It's 4th and goal from the 1, but it's a true 1 this time. They're right at the 1.
Yes. This has to be Dismaris, and you have to say, okay, we're going to rely on the big fella. There it is.
Furtado is on the right.
That's the pitch, though.
Damaris.
That's the pitch. It's a slow developing
He is
play.
stopped. A goal line stand, and the Hilltoppers say, no thank you.
Questionable play calls. The last 2 plays, you're pitching the football, which means you go back a yard or 2 in the play as it develops, rather than everything is forward. So first of all, you pitch to the wingback coming across, then you pitch to Desmarais. You take away his momentum. His strength is just straight up the gut, running forward. Instead, you make him run a bit laterally, and they stuff the play. Durfee, give them credit.
And third down, it should have been a sneak.
It's been a long season,
It's
Joe.
been a
Let's just put it that way. And then we'll leave it at that. And
Wow.
right there tells you the way it's been for New Bedford all season.
Yeah.
Whalers had the football at the 5.
I remember my first season, we didn't have the running clock stuff at the time, right? It was the old rules. Brockton came in here. We had pouring rain. We lost 59-0. I mean, we were out of it after two possessions. It was just, and it was like that all year. It was so similar to this season for New Bedford. I get it. I feel for them. I've witnessed it. And, you know, it's just unfortunate. It's back to the drawing board, as they say. That's it. You can only learn from it and try to be better next year. Durfee with a false start, half the distance, so 1.5 feet further back.
So 2 turkey drumsticks.
Yeah, and maybe
the width of 2 turkey drumsticks.
and maybe a thigh.
Listen, I got stuffing that's bigger than that right now to get that ball where it is. It's
oh, man.
Waiting for us.
That's so funny.
Wow.
So this is about where the ball was when the Whalers should have sneaked it, to give you any idea. So this, like, yeah. And Sherry's still out there.
Sure.
Quarterback sneak.
Yep.
Say it again, Joe. What was the play?
Well, when you're 6 feet,
But it was
195.
Durfee. It was Durfee who ran that
Yeah, 6
quarterback.
feet, 195 is a little different than. But Desmarais, yeah, obviously, it's just give it
Gain of 2 on the play.
full steam
Second and
ahead instead of the pitch. And
Right. Under 5 minutes to go, and the clock continues to roll here on Thanksgiving morning as the Hilltoppers closing in on their second straight Thanksgiving Day win. A 5-6 season, matching their best under head coach Taylor Brown. They had a 5-win season a few years back. And they just dug themselves out of the hole. A first down. That is that number 1? Looks like Pena.
Pena, the ball
Yeah,
carrier.
Luis Pena getting the carry.
That run's good enough for a Hilltopper first down.
You mentioned earlier in the telecast a lot of players returning for Durfee.
Yeah,
And so you're going to have a
lot.
senior-laden squad next year, and that bodes well for a team that'll finish at 500.
and it will bode well for a freshman team that went undefeated.
That's
to say, can I get one of
Yeah.
those guys, 2 of those guys, 3 of those guys
To
to be
play.
a sophomore to play and be even better? Why not?
That's the big one there, Chris,
Why not?
is can they improve on what's already worked? Durfee will be 5-6. Unfortunately, a couple one-possession losses earlier in the year that cost them that chance of being above 500 for the first time in a couple decades, actually, since Coach Winarski was leading this team. And
first down.
but 5-6 is certainly a vast improvement from the last few years. And to your point, the core is back. If you look at this roster, there are not a lot of seniors up and down it. There's way more juniors and sophomores, and those players have been impact players this year. And again, yeah, the freshmen coming up after a 10-0 season, a perfect season. Did the ball come loose again? And it looks like Durfee will be able to keep it, but they'll lose some yards out of it. They will not turn it over.
Well, I mean, you got to think of Pena and you got to think of Antoine as the 2 that are obviously gone. But I think more than anything else, Evan, it's what you get out of your core linemen. You get it out of the offense and defensive side. You get that group back that can work together to open up. You can find skill players.
No, but that's
You've
so
gotta find
invaluable.
the line players,
and
that's more important.
And Cousins, number 7, just a sophomore this year. He's had some big plays throughout the season. So he's coming back. You got 2 more years out of him. So he'll probably be your feature back next year, which is great.
And your quarterback's returning, which is
Of
key.
course, yeah. I mean, that's the best. That's the best thing is. So as a senior, you hope for no major injuries. You hope that he can stay durable and he can lead this team with players that he's led basically for these last 2 seasons, this year and last.
Get them in the weight room, get them training early. You know, I'm sure they'll play other sports. as well with the winter coming up and spring seasons.
Well,
and then figure out and build from there and get ready come the summer and keep working out and getting better and stronger. And I'm sure that's what they're going to do.
That's a big point. Now, Sherry plays 3 sports. He'll play basketball and baseball as well. But you talk about the weight room and staying in tip-top shape. And, we're very, very fortunate here to have a strength and conditioning coach in addition to the trainer. And Eli Brooks, only 2,000-yard rusher in school history. He did it 9 years ago. And he's our strength and conditioning coach. He gets it. He's a product of Durfee. And to have that position here, the injuries and the time on the sideline since that position was put in place 5 years ago has changed so much. So it's an invaluable position, and I hope more schools look into funding a position like that because it's clearly making a difference. I've talked to the athletic director, Brad Buss, and I've talked to Kelly Mahoney, our trainer, and they both have said the same thing. It's lessened time away from the field. Final minute here on Thanksgiving morning. Come up on 30 seconds.
Dorville, the ball carrier.
That was Orlando Dorville, a freshman, getting the first down. Maybe a glimpse of things to come for next season.
5'6", 170 pounds. Looks smaller than 5'6".
And if he's 170 pounds, Chris, I must weigh 260.
Well, yeah.
That's it. We're not lining up again.
I weighed myself in this morning.
Okay.
Just so you know, and I weighed 175.2. So
you go.
if he's 170,
the carbohydrates working for
I'm
you.
260.
Well, gentlemen, the Hilltoppers have shut out the Whalers. That's another one we got to look back now. When was the last shutout in this game? We've seen some wild ones. We saw an 8-6 game about 8 years ago. Today, 36-0, the final. The Hilltoppers, winners at home. They've made it 2 in a row against their arch rivals.
Well, they're just watching the shaking of hands line. We've seen some of that go wrong and astray in the past, but it looks like it's under control, and so they'll get ready for the ride home. Durfee will take, obviously, the victory and just enjoy Thanksgiving a little bit more than the Whalers here this morning.
Yeah, and in the second half, the one thing we can say, both teams, their demeanors, they were well behaved.
Yep, absolutely.
Looked like whatever the officials talked to the coaches about, that got transmitted along. So sportsmanship in the second half was outstanding. New Bedford, it's just one of those seasons. It's been a very frustrating one for them. They handled it well in the second half. They'll move on to 2026, and we'll see what that new season brings. New Bedford not with a lot of returning seniors, so it will be a new team, and we'll have to say, move on from 2025, and it's on to 2026. Not Cincinnati. It's not on to Cincinnati, but it's on to 2026.
Yeah. Well, the Hilltoppers finished the year 5-6. The Whalers 0-10. Football not done for us here before we hit the winter sports season. We will be live from Bedford, Hormel Stadium on Wednesday, 6 p.m. kickoff, the Vocational Championship. Diamond taking the trip to face off against Whittier, who is 1 seed higher, so they get to host. And so we'll see some Bengals football on Wednesday, folks. We hope that you will join us. And we thank you for joining us today and throughout the fall. Joe Cabral, Chris Santos from New Bedford Cable, our joint crew between New Bedford Cable and Fred TV. We have students, staff, everybody here, all hands on deck. It's been a great production and a great broadcast, and always a pleasure with you two. So
Same
thanks
here.
for being here.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Now, Joe, you can get your legs and your thighs and all the things that you
want.
want.
But no cream pie or stuffing.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that.
It kills me to say that, but no.
Final score one last time from Mac Aldridge Field, 36-0 in favor of Durfee. I'm Evan Massoud. So long. Happy Thanksgiving to all. there. Open field and a touchdown for the Whalers.
Durfee will go with a full house backfield. And Keeve will take it the distance.